Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wild.
Woo! I'm also applauding.
Woo! Jesse, tell them the good news, man.
The Leafs and the Minnesota Wild have won the 2016-2017 Dillman Award.
Yeah.
What? Yes.
Wow.
What? Wow.
Take that, all other teams who did not win the Dillman Award of this season.
That's right.
Season.
Only 2 and 30 can win it.
That's right.
It's a tough award.
Yeah.
It's only a 1 in 15 chance.
Exactly.
I know math.
I mean, you have as much of a chance of winning the Dillman Award as you do of making the Stanley Cup final.
Whoa.
That's a fact.
That's
actually.
an actual fact.
Is it?
It's a fact. Yeah, Steve. 2 teams make it. 2 teams won the Dillman Award.
Oh. I don't think that's how it works, but okay. I think that's wrong.
What is the Dillman Award? Because I've never heard of it.
Do you want to know what the Dillman Award is,
Yes.
or what Mr. Dillman's first name is?
Let's hear Mr. Dillman's first name. Mr. Dillman's first name.
Pickle.
Oh, now is Mr. Dillman? What era is Mr. Dillman of?
Sorry, which what? What was that on?
Era.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good.
Let me look up this.
Because it could be like a Monty. I feel like he's a Monty.
Monty Dillman.
Montgomery
Ooh.
Dillman.
Hugh.
Hugh. Oh,
Hugh
good
Dillman.
one. Hubert or just Hugh?
Hugh. Just Hugh.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's going too far back.
He was
maybe Mr. Dillman's father.
the Minnesota North Stars public relations director.
Okay, well that's not even fair because Minnesota just won an award for basically being in Minnesota, right? I think it should only be the Leafs.
Should be investigated, frankly.
I agree. I wonder if they back-channeled Russia too.
He passed away in 1988, sadly at the age of 58.
So is the head of PR?
He was the head of public relations.
So my guess is that this award has to do with how the team is marketed.
He's getting close.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not from most interviews, granted.
No, but it's like,
So
I'm not talking about like player interviews aren't marketing.
No, I'm making fun of the fact that they wouldn't let me interview rookies. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. Excellence in not marketing. I don't know. I'm searching for the
I
word.
pretty much gave it away. The Dillman Award is voted annually by the Pro Writers Hockey Writers Association members to honor the hard work of public relations staff who make the extra effort to help promote and cover the NHL and their teams.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, you know what? Well deserved on both teams.
So
That's actually very cool.
Shout out the Leafs PR staff. Give them the award for the whole year.
Actually, they've had a very good day. Steve Keogh, the head of all their PR, he just had a kid.
Oh, good for him.
Wow.
Today, or it might have been last night.
I think
tweeted
this
it
is
today.
the bigger deal.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry,
the
Steve.
Dillman Award is the
sorry,
bigger
Mr.
deal.
Keogh. No.
Yeah. No.
It's named in honor of late Minnesota North Stars PR extraordinaire Dick Dillman.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's a better name than I could have hoped for.
Yes.
That's great.
So to Richard.
Richard Dillman.
Wow.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now,
cheers.
is this award like the Memorial Cup, as in the host city, being Minnesota, always gets to get like a free entry? Like, do they win it every year just because they're Minnesota, or
No.
is it it's
Like how the
different?
Windsor Spitfires, who are not champions, are now champions of the champions.
We will get to that. The Memorial Cup, man.
No, last year Florida and Calgary won. Washington and San Jose from 2006 to 2010, they won it every year. They won 4 championships of the Dillman
God.
Award in a row. Both those teams, yeah. It's pretty impressive. I guess they have great PR staff.
They had a
I wonder what's going on
Dillman
there.
streak.
They've won more. They've won more Dillman Awards
Dick
than second
Dillman
round.
Awards.
The double Ds.
Than second round.
Oh,
How
dare
I didn't mean
you.
it like that.
Oh, you might have.
Okay, well, anyway, congratulations, Leafs PR staff. Congratulations, Wild PR staff. Well
Does
done.
Sasky get a Dillman Award now?
Sasky,
I
guess
she was
would.
there.
Yeah,
That's a great question.
we should ask her.
Congratulations to Sasky Stewart,
We
who
could
just
probably-
won the Dillman
Hey.
Award.
She was, you know what?
She's
No.
probably the reason.
They picked her up as a rental at the deadline, and they've extended her. And so, like, I mean, Doug Waite got a ring when the Hurricanes won it.
Yeah.
He pulled. You might say he pulled his weight
No.
in order to, you see, because so congrats to Sasky. That's what I say.
He
That's what I
helped.
say.
He dug a channel to the championship? No.
I
tried with the other side. I did. Come on.
Similar to how Recchi left his mark on that team.
Oh!
06 Carolina Hurricanes jokes. Oh.
Now do one
Jesse,
for
did you get that on the cam?
It is on
Ward?
the... No.
Just see, because...
yeah. That's right.
Steve, you're stalling the podcast.
Was he there? Yes, he was.
Yes, they were
He was the young upstart child.
I'm sorry, guys. I wouldn't want to piss you, Tverdovsky. I don't even know if he was on that team.
What?
Well, like
Man.
Tverdovsky.
Yeah, but like, piss you
Because,
Tverdovsky?
listen.
It's in there.
Oh, yeah, that's where we draw the line.
Yeah.
For sure. Pittsburgh Penguins are up 1-0.
They went 35 minutes without registering a
That
shot.
is absolutely so stupid.
So when asked after the game, by the way, Andrew Berkshire was on fire last night. But when asked after the
because
game,
him and team lost. Oh, I said it. No, no, he's right. He's right.
when asked last night about that shot drought,
Yes.
Sidney Crosby said, "Well, we missed a lot of shots at the net."
Well, that makes sense.
It was 37, by the way.
37 minutes.
37,
Okay.
yes.
That makes sense.
That does make sense, except that in that time, Pittsburgh missed 2 shots.
Oh.
So they really didn't. They really
lose that game?
Well, Pecorine is how they lost that game.
Damn, you know,
I mean,
you called it. I'm pretty sure it was you.
Did I say?
Because we were talking about the difference in the series. And I was like, well, I mean, if Nashville wins the Cup, odds are Pecorine gets the Conn Smythe. And then we were talking about the potential difference makers in the series, and I'm like, Matt Murray's way better than Pecorine. Oh, boy.
I think it was you, man. I think you called that one.
No, I'm pretty sure it was
Well,
you.
was it now? Gensel scored the 4th goal, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so
he did.
it was like that. That was like a crazy shot. It was their first shot in 37 minutes. If Pecorine's standing for that, that doesn't go in.
Oh, the Malkin one, too. Berkshire
Yeah.
posted.
He saw, like...
If you see it, you got to be able to stop it, especially if it's from like beyond the hash marks.
It was a blue line shot.
I know it was a knuckler because it kind of dove a little bit, but you're 6'6" wearing all this equipment and you're Pecorine and you're in the Stanley Cup final and you were a 9-4-1 heading into the series. You got to stop that.
Pecorine also won an award today.
Oh.
He has the worst save percentage ever for a goalie who played in a full playoff game
Wow, not even just Stanley Cup final.
in the history of playoffs in the NHL.
What was it?
He had a 636.
Oh my God.
There was 11 shots, and he made 7 saves.
See, that was the
Canucks
excellence.
fans call it the Dan Kluche Award.
Well, I was going to say that's the excellence of Martin Brodeur because he faced 11 shots all the time.
That's so true.
But he would stop them all. That was the difference.
With no offense to Dan Kluche, Canucks
sometimes
fans
a
just
little-
have I think they have a serious hate for him.
Yes,
For a
they
while
should.
there, if you Googled worst goalie in the history of the NHL, it was Canucks fans made sure Dan Kluche hit at the
that a
top.
thing?
That was a thing for a
Oh,
while.
wow.
I don't think it is anymore.
So Jesse just handed me a list from
It's the 10
Sheng Peng
Yeah, it's the 10 worst playoff save percentages ever.
ever, and a bunch are from the 80s. That does not shock me. But the last one on this list is from 2007. And it was Ray Emery, by the way. And I think this was actually in the Stanley Cup final. It must have been because it was against Anaheim. He allowed 6 goals on... well, he made 18 shots. 6 goals on 18 shots. Vesatoskala is in there against the Oilers. He allowed the exact same as Ray Emery. But Pecorine takes the cake. 4 goals against on 11 shots. My God.
And the
No
thing is-
Leafs.
Nope.
You have
No
to make
lead.
the
Well,
playoffs.
we have to play a couple few more.
Hey, strategy.
If you never play,
Strategy.
nothing can go wrong. Except when you do, things still happen. I don't know why.
Hey, listen.
Now,
okay.
When you go 37 minutes without a shot, there's no question that as a goaltender, it's pretty hard to stay focused. However, do you think the sentence, because this is how I think, I would be like, whatever happens, whenever that next shot comes, don't let it in. That would be the first.
Yeah, and he told himself that for close to an hour.
Yeah, right.
Like with intermission.
Because I think that's probably what he was thinking, right?
Yeah, it was probably more than an hour. Pecorine went I would love to know what the actual time between shots was. It was probably over an hour.
Yeah, I think it was. It has to be.
Between whistles and intermission, it would have had to have been at least an hour. Poor guy. So what's harder for a goalie? If you're Matt Murray and your team's getting outshot to holy hell and you're the one who has to hold the fort and you know you have to hold the fort and your team is doing nothing to help you, or being Pecorino going, oh my God, we're in this position because of me. It's my fault. He's standing back there the whole time going, I allowed 3 goals in the first period. That's why we're in this position. It's my fault.
I wonder. I mean, that there has to be some sort of negative thought that slips in, but his team was able to get beyond it.
Yep.
They were able to get beyond that 3 goal. They were able to get beyond that goal being called back. James Neal getting that stupid penalty. What a stupid penalty. And James Neal would say that. It's a stupid penalty. You're already down a guy and you're going to cross-check someone? Are you crazy?
So there were, I wrote a trade tree, which was basically just comparing James Neal with Patrick Hornqvist since the trade. Numerically, or statistically, numerically, why did I use that word?
Either or.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They're very similar. Not far apart in goals, not far apart in assists, not far apart in points, not far apart in primary points. 9 shots separate them.
Wow.
In 3 full seasons of hockey, 9 shots separate them. The 2 huge differences were Patrick Hornqvist hits a lot more, and he has a plus 15 penalty differential. James Neal, minus 15.
Ooh.
Fun
So
fact.
does that speak to temperament?
Well, he was starting to develop a reputation before the trade, as he basically takes a lot of dumb penalties and gets suspended a lot. And I wonder if that's stuck with him a little bit. But I mean, it's not like it was a bad call, right? It wasn't a borderline call.
No,
that they called because it was Chris
That was the
Neal.
right call.
Yeah.
He just made the wrong move.
Brutal.
Jesse, what were you going to ask?
Oh, it was also tweeted out by longtime listener of the show, the Pittsburgh Penguins Twitter account.
That's right. That's right. That was a
They're
nice
a big
little
fan,
surprise.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing your mentions go doot doot doot, just trucking along, and then brrr, you're like, okay, I hope I didn't do something terribly wrong.
Right.
And then you
Yes.
see it. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it seemed like Nashville was able to get over the fact that they had the goal called back. They had the 5-on-3, the goal that probably should have been saved from Malkin. That doesn't mean that there wouldn't have been another goal in the 5-on-3, but that first one should have been stopped. What's interesting, and I want to rewind to that first goal, and here's what I don't understand, and I think Andrew Berkshire, again, perfectly dadded out on Twitter, because he's going to be dad anyway.
Dad.
So he was being hockey dad last night, and he actually
It's going to be real dead soon.
outlined this perfectly. When Nashville was quote-unquote offside, which, by the way, it doesn't really help that the bottom of your skate is white because you can't really tell. Unless the NHL has a better view, there's no actual way to tell the difference between that skate and the ice. You can't see it. I'm sorry, you could.
I don't think it would help to make it black.
You know,
Because, like, again, it's still, like, there's a little bit of an angle, and you can't tell.
well, and why are the blue line
Make
cameras?
glowing skates!
Why are the blue line cameras not in the boards?
They have
They are,
ones
but
in the
they're-
boards, yeah.
No, they're like above. They should be
Like, right
like
all
in the
along.
board.
I don't know.
If
Hey,
you're gonna
why
be
not
that
just
serious about
have 17 camera? Why not just line the blue line with camera? Or maybe we made a mistake and we shouldn't be doing this.
Well, and that was the thing. Part of the infuriating Gary Bettman press conference yesterday was he said that it's worked exactly how they hoped. Doesn't mean it's going to stay in the game. I think this is exactly what they hoped for, and then they'll have to decide whether or not they want this in the game. But
the
what
Baghdad
really,
Bob of the NHL. Everything's fine.
we're good.
My God.
We'll talk about that, the other stuff coming up. But the one thing that I thought was interesting, and Andrew brought this up perfectly, was Pittsburgh regained possession of the puck. So Nashville goes in offside. Okay, I'll grant you that. But then Pittsburgh regains possession of the puck.
But
Does that
Nashville's
not
still
nullify the offside?
No.
No, they didn't leave the zone, did they?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
if they got possession of the puck, it should matter.
No, 'cause
they
you're
left
still
they entered
onside.
the zone illegally in the first place.
Yeah.
So they were offside the entire time, even though Pittsburgh had the puck.
Yeah.
If Pittsburgh, I think the way it works, trying to remember. It's easier when you see it, but I think if Pittsburgh were to leave the zone and then bring it back into their zone, but Nashville hasn't cleared, it doesn't matter. Nashville can still be there.
Yeah.
And that is onside. That's
Well, I know
not
how
what
they-
happened.
guys, I know how the
Nashville
rule-
would have to re-enter the entire zone.
I know the rule part.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is if Pittsburgh regains control of the puck, should that not nullify the replay?
No, it should nullify when you come back onside.
So you're saying they got the call right.
Yeah, because they were offside.
So, okay, this goes back to Jesse's point that he always makes, and I can't argue it because he's correct. They got the call right. The call is correct. Are we mad that they got the call right?
I'm not mad at that. I think I'm just a little perturbed by the fact that there's something that strikes me as weird about Pittsburgh regaining control of the possession of the play, and then they're able to rewind back past that.
I
It
agree.
should be possession goal. Like if it's possession, if Nashville comes in with possession and hangs onto the puck and scores, fine, call it back.
But they're not reviewing possession. They're reviewing offside. It should be offside, onside, goal, no goal. So you have to re-enter onside.
It's horseshit. Just because it's horseshit does not necessarily make it wrong, though.
True. Okay.
Which is the agonizing part of it.
That's a great way to put
There's
that.
a lot of, life lesson. There's so much in life that is horseshit,
but it's
and
right.
the way it is, and correct.
So
that play was horseshit, and they made the right call.
now, if
Shit.
all were right in the world, that goal counts. And
Yeah.
we're talking about how PK and the rest of the Nashville defense put on a clinic last night and won that game.
How about this? If it wasn't reviewed, the Penguins fans would be freaking out.
Yeah.
Fucking goal shouldn't have counted.
And fair.
I
Totally
mean,
fair. Listen, I'm not even going to dispute the call, even though I still think that replay, man, it's not conclusive to me. But it doesn't matter what I think. The NHL must have had some sort of view on that. I just don't see how his skate left the ice. You can't actually prove that.
I'm under the impression that they have higher quality video than
Than
we
the-
have
than the
access to.
broadcasters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The very frustrating part of it. Oh, I want to say it was earlier in the playoffs or late in the regular season. I'm trying to remember it, but the NHL was withholding an angle from Sportsnet. And Sportsnet, like, we're looking at this play. I wish I could remember what the play was. I think it involved the Leafs, where we're going, that's clearly the wrong call. It's clearly the wrong call. And it wasn't until, like, after intermission or something like that, they send in the correct clip, and you're like, oh, okay, well, they got it right. Well, why wouldn't you say that? If you're right, why wouldn't you scream it from the rooftops?
Steve, everything's good. Everything's good.
Everything is fine.
We're good.
Oh,
We're
my
good.
God.
It's all good. Everything's good. Just be calm. Trust the process. That's for Philadelphia fans. Trust the process.
I know. I know.
Okay, so then that reversal of fortune happens for Nashville. They go down in the first period 3-0. That sucks.
Who's the one who hit it in their own net?
Is it
Like, everything that could have gone wrong
it was
did.
Rene, first of all. He was batting it off of his own guy's
Yeah,
knee.
but the defenseman.
But,
Yeah.
who did it go in off of?
So should I jump ahead to this part of the conversation?
Okay. What's the part?
When do we see, if at all, UC Saros come into the Stanley Cup final?
You mean Nashville's UC Saros?
Nashville's back up.
What's his MO? What's his deal?
He's good. That's his MO. He's tiny. Compared to Pecorine, anyone's tiny. I think Jesse's looking up at Pecorine. Or you're about the same
I want to
height.
see who got the goal knocked
sure.
off of.
Yeah, please let us know.
But Saros is wicked. Here, I brought my laptop. It's one of those rare days where I brought my laptop, so I will look up his statisticals.
Interesting, because if Pecorine has another bad game, you got to think that that's what they have to do.
Well, you got 7 games max to get it right. Well, now you only have max 6. Maximum 6.
Ekholm.
It was
Matthias Ekholm. Yes. So this year, UC Saros in 21 games, he started 19. He was 10-8-3 with a .923 save percentage, which is pretty nice. 5'11", $180, 22 years old. So Rene's contract, if he were to plummet into the earth's crust, like, it looks like he'll be able to be at least adequate until the end of his contract. And then if they're able to hold on to him,
when does his contract end?
I think it's 2 years after this one.
Oh, okay.
I will
Because he's
check
making
that, too.
a boatload of money.
He's making $7 million. He's making a lot of money. But if they're able to hold on to him, once that's all done, Nashville's got UC Saros in the system. Pekka Rinne makes a lot of money.
Let's see. Hey, question for you. If this is totally off and random, but do you take Pekka Rinne?
Two more seasons.
Do you take Pekka Rinne at $3.5 million?
Who are you?
Well,
Who's the team?
I mean, I wonder if Calgary doesn't try to. That might be a contract that Nashville might want to get.
I like
books.
where your head's at, but there's no way Nashville does it.
You don't think?
I don't think so.
Well, couldn't they lose Saros in the
I
expansion
believe
draft?
he is exempt.
Is he?
perfect.
Okay. Then I guess they're okay.
So let me
Forget about it.
I will confirm that, but I believe he is exempt.
Okay, that would make sense. He's pretty young.
Yeah, so they're not one of these teams like New York where they have a perfect backup situation that they're, almost surely going to lose. That sucks, eh?
Or Philip Grubauer in Washington.
Grubauer's probably, he's probably going to be joining Vegas.
Pretty good Vegas tandem.
Honestly,
I think so.
Fleury,
Yeah.
you can get pretty
Grubauer,
far.
And Ranta.
Good goaling.
Or some
goaltending.
people have said, oh my God, what was it? Yeah, Ranta, Grubauer, and Pickard.
Oh my
From
goodness.
Colorado.
Not
well,
bad.
because this whole thing about, they should go after Marc-Andre Fleury. What for? They could find a goalie who's about as good, if not better, for like
Way
a
less money.
quarter of the price. What's the point? Saros is exempt.
Well, that's good for them then.
So if Vegas wants Marek Mazinets,
They can have him.
you go Marek Mazinuts. And you can have him.
Marek Mazza, not our problem. Right? Am I right?
Am I? You see, because you see the goalie. It's his name. You see.
Speaking of Merrick's, Jeff Merrick released his top 100 prospects at Sportsnet.ca. I suggest reading that. It's it's impossible unless you follow it every day and that's your full-time job. It's so hard to go into the draft. Like you have to follow the C and the O and the W and across the pond and go to old Europe. You gotta follow all those small leagues. Europe and Russia too. Which is strangely a part of Europe in some people's minds. I don't understand that one, but anyway.
I just look at it as Russia.
It should be its own country.
Yeah.
I wonder. I always wonder, like going in, like everybody's tweeting about. And I know we're talking about the draft and not about the Stanley Cup, but my favorite part is everybody's like, I have a prospect, and that's who we need to draft. So
That's
like,
my guy.
when we drafted Mitch Marner, people were like, it has to be Noah Hannafin. I was talking to my brother-in-law to be at the time, and he's like, you got to have a big, strong, tough defenseman. And I'm like, Luke Shen?
Yeah.
Not that Noah Hannafin's not going to be great or not better than Luke Shen, but I was like, how do you know? You don't know.
Do you want
see Noah
you want
Hannafin
Zach
play?
Werenski? Because I think you want Zach Werenski. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's his rep. I mean, I'm sure he can do those things, but I
Anyway.
don't think that's his rep. And sometimes I'll see people who will be like, "Oh, I watched, let's say, Mitch Marner. I'm a London Knights season ticket holder, and I watched Mitch Marner, and you do not want to draft him, or you definitely want to draft him because of
Did
this,
you hear
this,
from
and
people
this."
that they didn't want to draft Mitch Marner?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
No, but there was someone. I forget who it was. Anyway.
Boy, were they right.
Boy, were they. Well, here's the thing. Even if you're a season seat holder and you watch this player their whole career, not just this season, but the season before, maybe even the season before that, still, though, your opinion that they should draft X over this player or they should draft this player over X is only half right because you don't know the other player as well as you know this guy, which is funny because that person who's still only half right is still 50% more right than most.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I saw a guy on Twitter. I think he does analytics for the Mississauga Steelheads. He was basically like, "Wow, this is that time of year where everyone becomes a CHL expert."
I'm
all
just
of a
gonna
sudden."
say that's what I was saying. Like it's.
I don't know. I kind of hate when people go that route with like, "Well, I know better." But here's the thing:
Nico Herscher will go number one.
Well, here's the thing, though. He does. He does know better. Urbach knows better. Jeff Merrick knows better. This is the time of year where you go, what do these guys think?
It's okay sometimes to admit that you maybe don't know as much as the person that is following them all year. It's okay.
You can certainly say based on what I've read.
That's what I would do.
I think
everything is based on what I've read.
I have a hard time getting really passionate about a player I've never seen play, unless told to.
Yeah.
But even still, like, there's been players where I was told not to like them, and I watch them, and I go, oh, they're pretty good. And I've seen the opposite too. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you just saw a bad game.
So with last night's game, Pittsburgh wins. They come out on top on that one. Do you think
3 wins from the cup?
Do you think Pittsburgh will be as bad in the next game?
How as bad
will be? Because I don't think that, like, man, can we just be honest? If Nashville wins that game, it's all about how terrible Pittsburgh was, right? That's the storyline.
Yeah. They were bad for 5 out of 7 games against Washington. 5 out of 7. Bad. Like, there were a couple games where they got outplayed, but I suppose it was like regular outplayed. They got their asses kicked a few times against Washington. Even Ottawa. They ran Ottawa's show a few games. There were a few games where Pittsburgh wasn't in it.
Wasn't there like a 6-0 game or something? I forget already.
They took turns kicking ass. Yeah, they took turn kicking each other's ass. And yeah, Pittsburgh's hurt, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? That doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like Ottawa. A little bit. And it's funny because we gave Ottawa a really hard time. We didn't really give a crap when it came to Pittsburgh. I keep seeing that they got outplayed. I keep seeing reasons for why they shouldn't have won the game. Guess what? 1-0. Doesn't matter.
They won.
Guess what? 5-3 and 1-0. That's really all that matters. So do I expect Pittsburgh to be better next game? I mean, slightly.
Right.
But that still doesn't make it. It's not a guarantee they get over 20, 25 shots. It's also not a guarantee that if they do that, they'll lose.
Right. And by the way, Pittsburgh was injured. I want to play for you Pierre Dorian going through the Ottawa Senators injuries right now, just so you can get a sense of... And I don't understand why he does this. After every round, he lists off all the injuries that the Senators have. Why? What good does that do? Anyway, I mean, I get it at the end of the season. I get that, but I didn't get it before that anyway.
First of all, Erik Karlsson played on a bad ankle. Mark Borowiecki had a high ankle sprain. Alex Burrows had a high ankle sprain. Cody Ceci, I think, had his finger broken 17 times. Zach Smith played through tremendous pain. Victor Stahlberg played through tremendous pain. Chris Neal played with a significant sprained hand. Dion Phaneuf played with a really bad wrist. Craig Anderson back was in terrible shape. Tom Pyatt never got to be to 100%. Derek Brassard had a really bad shoulder. Freddie Kleisen had a bad back. Obviously, we all know about Mark Mathott's finger. Mark Stone never really got back to 100% with his leg injury. And finally, Ryan Zingle in the last game hurt his wrist.
It's Zingle.
Zingle, not Zingle.
Why do they always say Dezingle on the broadcast?
Because it's way better. I'm still going to call him that.
Dezingle.
So, Dezingle got hurt in the final game. No, okay, I'll tell you.
Now, if you get hurt in the final game, does it count?
Yes. Because what if they won with him?
True.
He had one of the goals.
True.
I think.
Good point. I don't know.
You know what that does? That makes Sens fans feel so much better, I think, and tighter to the team. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's actually kind of decent marketing. Look at how far they got. How hard
when you're
they
eliminated. But if you're going into the next round.
Yeah, but they're not.
But they've been doing this every round.
They have?
No, it was Erik Karlsson just deciding to tell people he had a broken foot for some bizarre reason. And I feel like Boucher might have let it slip with one guy. But, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think he sat at the podium at the end of each round.
Because he did say, strangely, that's a shortened clip, but he did say, I said to you guys at the end of each round I would give you the injury report.
Oh,
so
wow.
maybe he didn't, but he said something like that to the effect. I saw it on Sportsnet this morning.
It seems dumb.
It seemed dumb. That's why I was like, why are they doing this? So I understand being eliminated. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I misheard it. But
some of those are crazy. Like
crazy.
When oh my God, Jack Eichel. I almost called him Jack Campbell for some reason. Jack Eichel. When Jack Eichel missed all that time early in the season, it was a high ankle sprain.
Yep.
Sens had 2 of those.
Right.
And Jack Eichel, again, he's young. He heals up like a bug. Mark Borowiecki and Alex Burrows especially. I don't know. They might lose a step.
When we come back, because we got to take a quick break here, we got to talk about some Preds fan shenanigans, some NBC shenanigans, and some John Scott shenanigans.
Oh
and
my God, yeah.
some breaking Washington Capitals news.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, do you want to start? I think you
You can
start.
go.
All right,
ahead.
all right. Hey, we're back.
Okay.
We're back!
Washington Capitals news. What do we got?
Isabel Khrushchev.
That's what I'm going with.
Khrushchev?
She's good. She's really good.
Reporter for who?
Washington Capitals.
Like the actual team?
Yes.
Okay, she's the team
Covers the
reporter.
team, I believe.
Yep.
She covers the team. I don't know if
Covers
she
the
works
team.
for the team.
I don't know if she works for them. She says, on Ovechkin, Caps won't strip captaincy. Caps and captaincy.
What do you see?
Not ready to trade him, but maybe if a hockey deal came around at some point.
Oh!
This is from
It's going to
McClellan.
happen.
I'm not trading PK Subban.
This is from McClellan. He said maybe if a hockey deal comes around, we'll trade Ovechkin. God damn it.
Oh, it's happening.
It's happening this summer.
Listen, there's a hockey deal out there. Even if there's a team willing to move heaven and earth to get that on there.
Ugh.
Islanders. If they don't get Kovalchuk, Islanders. And I also think now the rumor has it Montreal was after New Jersey's first round pick, and there's a few other teams that originally were after it.
Which is the first overall pick.
First overall pick, yeah.
Holy shit.
What if Montreal made a stab in the thing is they're wing heavy already.
So are you thinking Montreal maybe goes for the first overall pick or Montreal goes for Ovechkin?
I think they're looking to make a big splash either way.
For some reason, my first thought was they somehow keep Radulov and get Ovechkin.
That would be a sick.
There's a lot in the way of that happening.
Who plays center? Matt Duchene.
They don't need one.
They don't.
Yeah,
no.
Matt Duchene. All of a sudden, the Habs are the Leafs of a few years ago. We're getting Bobby Ryan, Jeff Carter,
Brad Richards,
Brett Hull's coming back, Wayne Gretzky, Maurice Richard,
Doug Gilmore's going to coach. That was a thing too.
Do you want more of the
Big Head Jerome McGinley? We're actually going to import the video game Big Head version of Jerome McGinley.
I like that.
Do you want more of the quote?
Yes.
Yes.
So he says, Brian McClellan, he says, he's a big part of our franchise, a big part of our history. He's been a big part of where we're at as an organization. Just to casually say, let's trade him for what? For who? I don't think that it makes sense from an organizational standpoint. Maybe at some point, if there's a legitimate hockey deal that came available, but I don't know that's where we're at right now. I just think he's got a history here. He's a big part of this franchise, and he'll continue to be going forward.
They're trading Alex Ovechkin.
Yes,
But
they
in
are.
the middle, he says maybe if there's hockey.
You know, it'd
deal.
be super great, and it would never happen. But it'd be super great if he ended up in Vegas. What a statement piece that would be.
Wow.
Imagine Vegas. Like, if you're Vegas, at this point, you can do whatever you want. You have a marketable player.
What can they offer them? We'll give you Reed Duke.
Wouldn't it be? Imagine, and by the way, the Vegas Twitter account is really funny.
Oh yeah, because
It'd be so funny if they traded him before he ever played for them. And like,
That'd be cool.
That would be so great. Oh my god.
there's a depending on what happens to him, there could be like a pretty interesting book. Like
The Reed Duke
what
book?
is it like to be the first and only player on a hockey team, on an NHL team?
There's no guarantees he even makes the team, too.
Of course
God,
not.
no,
He's
yeah.
a free agent signing out of junior.
He's not playing the NHL next year.
No. But
So
maybe, but no.
He might never play a game for them.
He will definitely not when he gets traded for Alex Ovechkin. He's not. The Capitals might need a cheap replacement, but
But it would be the most football NFL deal in history because you'd have to give up all the first round
Alex
picks.
Ovechkin for Jared Goff.
Agreed.
Straight up, done,
But
and a fourth.
if you think about it, it would be kind of neat to have for Vegas to have that piece. That's a great marketing thing for them.
Do you think they want to do that? Do you think they're gonna? Also, it's a Caps former GM. Do you think?
Oh man!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow!
Do you
Come
think
on! Do it.
Vegas is gonna try to do that? Because Brian Burke tried to do that with Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
And it ended up. I mean, Phil Kessel was great, but it ended up not being the right decision.
But they don't need a win. That's the thing. They're supposed to be bad. If they go all out and get Ovechkin, they're terrible. Then it's like, we're terrible.
Whatever,
we're
we were supposed to
expansion
be terrible.
franchise. What do you mean?
But they have good. They'll have good young goaltending, and George might be able to pay the McPhee for Alexander Ovechkin.
I have a question.
what
for,
if part of the fee is we won't take Philip Grubauer?
The McPhee, excuse me.
I have a question.
Oh!
I'm starting it. Oh, this is happening. Oh, this is happening.
I have a question for the two of you.
What's
What
that?
do you guys think is a fair hockey deal for
Jesus.
Ovechkin?
I don't know, man.
Like, if somebody comes to you and says, "I want Ovechkin," what do you
It
expect in
has
return?
to be a player that sets them up for the next 5 to 10 years. So, like, if it were the Leafs, like, say the Leafs wanted, for some reason, to get Alexander Ovechkin, if William Nylander and other good player is not in that deal, or Mitch Marner and other good player is not in that deal, then you don't even talk to them. I think it has to be a guy that they're like, this is the next guy that we're going to build our team around, or you get a really good prospect and a couple of picks. You might bet on Vegas being bad. So let's say you get their first pick this year and their first pick next year, and maybe a second the year after that. You're basically hoping that they're terrible and they won't get Philip Grubauer, and you're assuming that pick will be high. You might get a lottery
Now,
pick.
isn't Washington trying to win next year? Shouldn't they be
could.
trading Ovechkin
Well,
for
I personally
pieces?
think they should be.
They should
Yeah.
be trading him for pieces that'll win them the cup next year, right? Not prospects.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, TJ Oshie is going to resign apparently too. Apparently
really?
they're close.
We'll see. Okay, Ovechkin.
There'll be a lot of extra cash with Ovechkin.
It would just be
Ovechkin, his cap hit. He's 31 years old. His cap hit is $9.5 and a bit $1 million for the next 4 seasons, starting this upcoming one. Which means he'll be 35 at the end of that. We know he's a generational superstar. We know he's one of the best goal scorers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's in decline. We know he's one of the most expensive players in the league. Are there enough hockey fans in Nevada who genuinely give a flying shit that Vegas has Ovechkin?
I think the point about getting Ovechkin, and again, this is totally wild, completely baseless talk.
Nope.
The point would be, yes, no, they don't.
There's a base. The GM said maybe. So
I think the key is that you create that base.
He
by
says
bringing a guy
maybe
like that.
publicly, which means privately it's a little bit more than maybe.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
we're not trading PK Subban. Happened last summer.
Mark
listening
Bergevin
to
screwed it up
calls.
for everybody.
Yep.
He didn't just screw it up for himself. He made it so that no matter what a GM says, we're like, no.
Well, but Mark Bergevin did say he'd pick up the phone. He said, I'll listen to calls.
No.
We're
He
not
said,
trading
He said, we're
won't.
not actively shopping, is what he said.
No.
That's just quote. We're not actively shopping.
about this?
Anyway, I never thought that we'd ever be talking about Ovechkin being dealt. I just never thought that would be a thing. That would be a legit. And why would he be stripped of the captaincy unless he did something? Like, is there? I mean, I don't know this. Are there legitimate reasons why Alexander Ovechkin shouldn't be the captain of the Washington Capitals, other than the fact that they lost in 7 games in the second round this year?
None that are public.
Okay.
Like, people keep saying all these things, so I don't know, but I haven't read anything worthy of it.
Like, is there any proof of bad behavior or attitude or?
Here's why the Caps need to win now, by the way. This year, their first pick in the 2017 draft is in the 4th round. They have a 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. The year after, they have their first but no second. And in 2019 even, their second rounder is up in the air because it's conditional. It says conditional pick, conditions. If Capitals re-sign Shattenkirk or advance to the 2016-17 Eastern Conference Final, and if Shattenkirk plays in 50% of the first 2 rounds, Blues receive 2019 second-round draft pick. If Capitals trade Shattenkirk on or before July 1st, 2017, Blues receive a 7th click. Oh, no, a 7th click to view full details. So I was like, there's a spelling mistake at Cap Friendly.
That's some pro reading.
You're an
there,
idiot.
Steve.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody touched your literary skills.
No, I have an English
What's a
minor.
click to see more? What kind of pick is that?
Thanks, Ryerson. That was a lot of money well spent.
So what is a hockey trade for Alexander Ovechkin? It better be some of those picks that they're missing out on for the next few years from a team that's you hope. I mean, you hope Washington. If you're Washington and you're getting first round picks for Ovechkin and prospects, you're hoping the team's going to be bad because you want lottery picks, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I hang up for one more year if I'm Washington. One more year. You still, like, if TJ Oshie resigns, okay, you don't have Shattenkirk. And Carl Alsner's leaving. Well, Nate Schmidt's come in and played extremely well against the Leafs and is a really fast skater. Seems to be the guy who can replace Carl Alsner.
And you got to resign.
Him.
The amount of free agents on Washington is absurd.
What do they got?
Oh, wait, no, sorry. Wait, no, this is confusing. Oh, so cap friendly at the end of the season is a bit confusing. But, so these guys are all free agents right now.
Yeah.
Justin Williams is a UFA. Brett Connolly, RFA. Daniel Winnick, UFA. Andrei Burakovsky, RFA. Evgeny Kuznetsov, RFA. That's gonna suck. TJ Oshie, UFA. That's gonna suck. Carl Alsner, UFA. He's gone. Kevin Shattenkirk, UFA. We'll see. Nate Schmidt, RFA. Dmitry Orlov, RFA. Supposedly there was talk of him going to the KHL. Philip Grubauer.
Yes.
Vegas is taking him off your hands, so don't worry about that. Which means then you got to go out and get a backup goalie.
Oh my God.
They have a first rounder who they picked a few years ago, but I think he's locked into a KHL deal. There's this one dude, Vitek Vanacek, who I've never heard of, and he's 21. And Adam Carlson, who I've also never heard of. So,
Steven, what's your hockey trade for?
Oh, and Phoenix Copley, I heard he's good.
What's your hockey deal for Ovechkin?
So here's the thing. There are clean hockey deals I think you can make. Patrick Hornqvist for James Neal, even though Nick Spaulding was involved. It was a clean deal. It was two players that were roughly very good comparables for each other. The trade made sense for a lot of reasons at the time. This is messy. There's too many variables involved. One, if you're the Capitals, imagine if Ovechkin bites you. Like, imagine he goes somewhere, kicks ass, and they win. You saw it with Phil Kessel last year. Might see it again with Phil Kessel, or PK Subban wins this year. What if Ovechkin goes somewhere and just none of his demons go with him and they win the cup? So it looks terrible on Washington. He makes $9.5 million, more than $9.5 million for the next 4 years. He's in decline. What if you're the team who buys and you've set your franchise back 10 years? This is enough money and a big enough deal that if you fuck it up, you screw your team up for a Leafs in 2004 amount of time. Are you ready for your team to suck? Like, not just, not win the cup. Are you ready for your team to suck for a decade if you fuck this up? Are you that sure?
Well, you wouldn't have to worry about it if you fucked it up because you'd be gone within a couple of years. Gee,
Not my problem.
Not my problem.
You're talking, this is big money. This is big money. Man, I've gone to casinos before. It's not my thing, but I've been involved in games where it's like a $20 buy-in. And I remember going, $20? Like, Jesus. And then I went to another table in Niagara and they're like, it's $50, and I went, oh, this is where the big boys play. This is the big spenders table. Like, now the stakes are $9.5 million for the next.
You know, it is only the next 4 years. Now,
Yeah.
what about?
And also, sorry, just to add to that, it's $9.5 million on the cap. It is actually $10 million in salary per year.
So you need a team that's going to be able to pay that.
And he has a modified no trade clause that I just saw.
So I guess the question would be,
holy shit.
The question would be, who could afford it?
The New York Rangers.
You know who?
This is the other messy part of the deal. No one can afford that, so they got to make a way to afford it. This is a big enough deal that, like, it's not like the Caps are just going to get back 14 first-round picks and all the blue chip prospects in the world. You got to take back some bullshit. You got to take back some.
Unless it's like Subban for Weber, where you're matching big contracts.
Who
the hell is
who
this?
would match with that? I wonder.
Corey Perry.
And again, a couple names come to mind.
Totally. Makes sense. Let's go.
A couple names come to mind.
Okay.
Philadelphia.
This is so dumb that we're talking about
I know.
this.
Title
This is so
Ovechkin
dumb.
to Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, really. Philadelphia, to me, because they don't seem to care about the cap too much.
Oh, they don't have one. They don't have one.
And or what about? And I know this is dumb. All right, ready for some dumbness?
Yes.
Ready for a completely ridiculous proposal that Washington would maybe want to consider more than Philly because they're not in the same conference. Chicago. You laugh.
They give up a fourth.
Brent Seabrook, Chicago wants to get rid of.
Whoa, they do?
That's apparently the word. He's a little bit in decline. See a flip. See what now? And it's Seabrook plus. I don't know what plus Chicago has to offer.
How much does Seabrook make?
I think it's 6.5, 6.85.
It is 6.875. Very
There you go.
close, Adam. Very.
So-
Forever.
I
I think he's off the screen.
Yeah, you can't go.
he makes it forever. He does make it forever. However, it's a defenseman that Washington will need because they've got a few leaving, right? Mm-hmm. It's a guy that's been there, that's won the cup. And if Chicago had the prospects, because I don't think they have the picks.
No.
Chicago?
Yeah, do they have picks? I don't think they have picks anymore.
They do, but they're all late. They're all late. No,
You need
Chicago
first
has
rounders.
their own first, their own second. They don't have their own third, but they have Ottawa's. They have their own fourth. And they have theirs, Carolina's, and St. Louis's fifth. But, I mean, it's a fifth.
It's just so
Who
stupid.
cares?
Like, if you're Chicago, your power play would be stupid, but you'd have $30 million wrapped up in 3 players. 35 if you
More.
include Duncan Keith.
Yeah,
More.
Yeah, that would be dumb. That wouldn't work. Winnipeg actually has the money.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
They
do
do.
it.
What about Edmonton?
What do you
For
got?
Eberle.
Draisaitl. Well, if you
No,
could
you get rid of Draisaitl.
if you could drop Eberle and
No.
Nuge.
This is the other thing. Like, I wonder,
Like,
like,
what's
what
the-
is the value? How do people view Alex Ovechkin these days? I think that's a
as
valid question.
McDavid's line mate.
That would be sick. For the NHL's sake, I want to see that.
How are we
I
having
want
this
that.
stupid conversation?
Because it's stupid. We're stupid.
This is
Whatever.
what the show is for.
Yeah.
Stupidness. It exists to be stupid.
Like, okay, so he said the reason we're having this conversation is the general manager of the Washington Capitals
Thank
said
you.
hockey trade. So we're trying to figure out what's a hockey trade.
No, I know. I'm not making.
What would be the hockey trade? Like, I don't know where he goes.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
Winnipeg does have the cap room. New Jersey's got the cap room. Who else has got it? Vegas, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's a couple more.
Well, it's
other
not
teams.
even about the cap room. If you match a salary, it's fine. Then your cap room is still there.
You know what?
So
I'm
you
going
match
about
a
this the
couple
wrong
guys
way.
who match the salary.
I'm going about this the wrong way. I'm on Cap Friendly. How do I find the most expensive players in the league? Because that's where we have to
there you
start.
go.
That's where we have to start.
Would you
How do I do that?
If you're Washington, is Alexander Ovechkin worth a center who scores 60 points and a winger who scores 60 points? Is he?
I'm just so hesitant to
Because
answer
what
the
about
question.
Nugent?
Because I can't believe
That's what I'm
we're having this
saying.
conversation.
I think Edmonton's a good fit.
If he's so sick, I would love to see
Well, okay. There's Eberle.
and Nuge, because Draisaitl's got to get re-signed
When does Edmonton have to face the reality that the Milan Lucic contract sucks?
next year.
Never.
Next year, because
Never?
Draisaitl will re-sign, and then they're gonna have to sign McDavid, and then they're not gonna be able to do anything
Well, that's what I'm saying. And he's signed
forever.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 years remaining on this deal. Are you kidding me? Ooh. Like, we're talking big money, man. This is so funny.
There you go. List the cap.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so the top cap hits in the, or is this salary?
Cap hit.
This is cap
It's
hit.
organized by cap
I
hit.
see. Sorry. Top cap hit. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, both make 10.5. Jonathan Taves makes 10.5.
Okay, so no Ovechkin deal. There we go. Keep going.
Anze Kopitar,
Maybe.
Alex
Oh, it's Ovechkin.
Ovechkin, Evgeny Malkin, PK Subban, Sidney Crosby, Corey Perry. Sidney Crosby is number 7, by the way.
87 actually.
Steven.
Ah.
Oh my God. Steven Stamkos, Henrik Lundqvist. That's going to be a thing.
Stamkos? Is that? No.
Worth it if he's playing. He just,
Yeah.
totally worth it if he's playing.
Claude Giroux,
Leafs would have paid him more.
There is that? No.
Ryan Getzlaff,
No.
Jakob Voracek, sorry. Phil Kessel,
Jakob.
Shea Weber, What if it's Shea Weber?
To Montreal.
Rick Nash, Dustin Byfuglien, Zach Parise, Ryan Suter, Jason Spezza, Vladimir Tarasenko, Ryan O'Reilly, Sergei Bobrovsky, Bobby Ryan, Chris Letang. If there's anyone who is a very merry unbirthday to you enough to go after Alex Ovechkin, it's Eugene Melnyk. Here's the problem. You have to pay Ovechkin money. Chris Letang, David Krejci, Dion Phaneuf, Drew Doughty, Paul Stastny, Henrik Sedin, Daniel Sedin.
Hey,
blah, 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 blah.
quick
blah.
question.
So anybody on that list?
Quick question. Okay, hold on. Calgary, in the last day or so, it's been rumored that Sam Bennett is on the market, and it's also been rumored that he asked for a trade. I don't know if that's for sure or not, but I know that is it Sam Bennett or Bo Bennett? Sam, because Bo's in Buffalo. Can we look at Buffalo's cap situation?
Buffalo? Okay, well, I was just looking at Calgary's. Cap friendly.
Well, look at Calgary's too. But
let us look at Buffalo. Actually, while we wait, can we just take a second to admire Philadelphia for a sec? So they won the draft lottery, got the second overall pick. So they got their own first, their own second, their own third, and Boston's third, their own fourth, the Islanders' fourth, and Tampa's fourth, their own fifth, their own sixth, their own seventh, LA seventh, and conditionally New Jersey seventh.
That's Philly?
That's Philly.
Yeah, and they won the hell out of that lottery.
And they're not that bad anyway.
Yeah,
to begin
they're
with.
not even bad.
they're doing.
So-
yeah, they're going to be good.
That's
And
looking.
got-
They are
Well, that's what I said. Philly's got the assets.
That's very true.
a little bit strapped.
Leave it to the Flyers to blow it.
You throw back Giroux plus a whole bunch of picks and like a D.
Because apparently Giroux wants a change. I just think
They
And
have
he was
the cap
on that
space.
list, right?
Yeah,
Of the top
they
caps.
have the cap space, but they also have a lot of guys they need to resign.
See, here's the thing. Okay, I'm looking at Buffalo's cap, and
Like
this
Ovechkin's the kind of guy you build your team around. You don't
But
shove
they've been,
him into
they've been
another.
trying
anymore.
that
He's
for
32, man.
his
Not anymore.
entire career.
No, but this is what I'm saying. The Capitals built their team around this guy, and now he's too big of a part in a league with a cap. He's too big of a part to just move. Unless you're taking like the Subban Weber thing. That's Haley's Comet, man. Like I don't think that's the new trend.
Do you remember when it collided with the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Haley's
hey,
Comet.
okay, so
Simpsons.
Oh, I was
Somebody
like, I don't
please
think
out
that
there
happened.
get my Simpsons
I'm
reference.
looking at Buffalo here. If Buffalo had not signed Kyle Okposo to a ridiculously long contract, which I think is going to end up hurting them a little bit, even though he's a pretty damn good player.
Well, and I hope he recovers too.
Yeah, seriously. So that might be a factor. He makes $6 million till 22-23. Ryan O'Reilly makes 7.5 till 22-23. But you got a guy like Evander Kane who's on the last year of his deal. Next year he's going to be a UFA. Matt Molson makes $5 million a year for the next 2 years. Jeez, there's some bad contracts.
Yeah,
on
it's
this
terrible.
team.
I
But hold
just
on.
want to know.
Just hang on.
Sure.
Jack Eichel, 20 years old, right?
Absolutely not. Don't you dare. I won't, as your friend, I won't let you let.
Oh
those
no,
words
they
leave
wouldn't
your
trade Jack Eichel. No, that's not what I'm saying. If you're somehow able to flip, let's say the reason that Washington wants to trade Ovechkin is to get out from under the cap implications, right?
No, it's to win now.
It's to win now.
Is their goal.
Well, then do you get a Evander Kane and a Matt Molson that are up in a couple years that get you out of that $10 million hole you'll be in? I don't know.
No.
I'm just making square peg round hole. I don't think Ovechkin moves, but it'd be really hilarious if he did.
I
really
want to
don't think
know
so.
how many Pittsburgh Penguins and Nashville Predators fans were like, can't wait for the podcast today. They're going to be talking about my team all show. And we talked about trading Ovechkin. That's awesome. That's awesome. That was a great little. I mean,
Well,
I don't see a fit.
We do have some. I don't either. I don't see it happening. But maybe in a year or so.
I also like for the reasons that I mentioned, like the draft reasons there. Yeah, Cap's gotta. You gotta blow the doors off. You have no. Here's the situation the Caps have put themselves in. Win next year or maybe the year after, and be bad. Like there's no retooling. You're gonna be bad at some point. I think. There it is.
Okay. NBC ran Peter Laviolette before the game last night. his pregame speech, and it was definitely uncensored and definitely had a huge F-bomb drop over the over the air.
No!
Which sucks, but also I feel like if you're a hockey fan, unless you're a kid, you probably have heard that word a few times.
Whenever I saw Pat Burns on TV, I knew what he was saying.
Yeah.
I could read it on his mustachioed lips.
Exactly. And you know what? Whatever. Kids are going to hear it anyway, right?
Also, as we've said on the show, my dad drove me around when I was 6 or 7. I didn't have a license. And guess what? He thought some things about the drivers around him. That's how I was the kid.
Jesse, can you...
I was the kid who knew.
What was hilarious about that is I think NBC dropped... They had the F-bomb thing before the game, and then they went right into a montage. And it was Pete Blackburn that was tweeting about this. And the song they chose for their pre-Stanley Cup montage was Fix You from Coldplay.
Oh.
I was like, damn, dude.
I mean, maybe if the Sens made it.
Yeah, but ugh.
No.
You want to get fired up. Like, you don't want that.
Who?
And that's not a cheap buy, by the way, that song. Because they would have had to pay to do that. Coldplay's like one of the biggest groups on earth. There's no way that would be cheap.
Yeah, I think there's a reason that there was... When Tim Thompson was doing all those big intros for CBC, I think there's a reason there was a lot of Canadian content.
It's cheaper. Jesse.
Yes.
Pred's catfish story.
Oh, yes.
I think I was told if they were to use Adele for the opening montage, which is like, what, 2-3 minutes? It's like $8,000.
That's it?
That's it?
I mean, yeah,
Do
but
it.
for that much television, and you could just as easily not do that? Like, if you're on a budget, people are getting laid off all the time. I don't know, it's kind of a lot of money.
$8,000 doesn't seem so bad. I would have thought it would.
I might be wrong on that number. I'm gonna have to ask again.
When you consider that every camera in there costs $150,000 to $200,000, I can't imagine that $8,000 held them back. It's got to be more.
I think it costs $8,000 here.
Ah,
is the price different?
Yeah, in the States, absolutely.
Probably.
Bigger audience.
I still don't even think that's right. Anyways, Jacob Waddell, who threw the catfish onto the ice last night, has been arrested.
I'm just glad he's off the streets.
He was charged with disorderly conduct, possessing instruments of crime, and most excellently, disrupting a meeting.
Okay. The second one is my favorite.
Yeah? You don't like the disrupting of a meeting?
Okay, it's definitely not a meeting. It's a hockey game. But just referring to a fish as an instrument of crime. What did you do it with, scumbag? I shot him with a gun. What are you in here for, scumbag? I shanked him with a knife. What are you in here for, scumbag? Threw a catfish on the ice at a hockey.
That I snuck it in my compression shorts.
In my compression.
Yeah. and took out in the drain. It was a big catfish.
I like to go cycling on the weekends, and I use those shorts to store a catfish.
My favorite tweets were from people who were like, but what about the catfish? Like, the catfish died. There were tweets. Don't look at me like that. Steve, what if it had been a dog? Would you feel so bad then? Would you feel so not bad then?
Honestly, every now and then, like, I get tweets all the time where I go, come on, man. Like, come on. And I try to reason with them, and I'm like, okay, you know what? They're having a bad day. Then sometimes I get tweets from people where I'm like, I'm not comfortable with you leaving the house in the morning. Like
the guy who decided to
I'm not comfortable with you having a driver's license. I'm not comfortable with you having a vote. Like, I'm not comfortable with being a part of the same society.
The guy who tweeted about Pokemon Go encouraging animal fighting. Remember that? Oh my god.
Yeah, something's wrong with your head. Like, something.
Yeah, or you're trying
not
to
all
be.
right.
You're trying. I don't even know if there's something wrong with people's heads. So I think sometimes people just want to be heard, so they'll just say something. Here's what'll get your attention.
Or maybe they're hilarious.
That could be a really funny. It could be the funniest tweet of all time.
But what about the catfish?
Somebody was tweeting Carrie Underwood about something last night, and she was like, "Pred shouldn't feel bad. They outplayed the Pens the whole game." And someone wrote, "Jesus took the L." Great tweet.
The charge came with a fine of $5,508. So, Jakob, get out your checkbook.
Okay.
That sucks.
Yeah.
John Scott doesn't like PK Subban and hates him and thinks
Yes.
he should go to hell. Okay,
Yes.
so everybody saw the headline. Everybody freaked out. Nobody decided to click on the interview and actually read what that said.
Well, okay, so this is, and Greg Wyshynski got a lot of heat for this, and I don't necessarily think it was right. So what has happened is, I think what has happened, and people please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure I didn't even need to tell you that. ESPN has been pumping the hell out of this E60 thing with PK Subban, which, ironically, I didn't get a chance to watch yet. And they've been releasing quotes from the thing. One of the quotes was Subban going, I stopped thinking about why I was traded from Montreal, and honestly, I don't care. That's a great quote. That made me want to listen to the show, big time. And then I think a day or two later, it was also released that John Scott was like, I think PK Subban's garbage. Or what was the quote? Do you have the quote in front of you?
Yes, I do. I don't like him. I think on ice, he's a piece of garbage.
Right. So what I think happened was Wish got and a few people got a press release from, I don't know, ESPN with quotes that they wanted out there to promote the interview.
Yes.
So that you would be interested in the interview and you would click on it and you would watch it, et cetera, et cetera. That's a great, holy shit, made me want to watch it. However, it is dishonest. Because as John Scott said yesterday on the Andrew Walker show, that quote is from 2 years ago.
It is. They did that interview a while ago. The other thing is, I didn't think even that quote was that off. Is it if you are playing PK Subban and you like playing PK Subban, that's probably not a compliment to him.
Right, but where it came from, the way it seemed, was retired player John Scott basically called PK Subban garbage for no good reason. Like, I saw a few tweets and they had a great point. They're like, who was like, let's get John Scott's opinion on PK. What?
I guess I just looked at it and
Gives
was
a
like,
shit. He's retired.
He said, I think on the ice, he's a piece of garbage. Just based on that quote alone, I'd be like,
On
yeah,
the ice.
That's what he said on the ice. Well, so he doesn't like playing
You know
him.
who's garbage on the ice? Nazem Kadri.
Garbage.
My team. So fuck you.
Brad Marchand. Garbage.
Garbage.
Almost a 40-goal scorer.
Garbage. And guess what? I put all my garbage thoughts about Brad Marchand in my pocket when he was on Team Canada. I put those all away neatly in a drawer, and then as soon as the season began, I took them out. I took them out again because he wasn't on my team anymore. That's how it works.
That's right.
And if it doesn't work that way for you, then you're just not being honest.
So basically, when he clarified it, he basically was like, I did that interview 2 years ago, and basically, like he said, listen, I got a bunch of hate tweets from Montreal. It was done 2 years ago, but I also really look at the quote. Look at what he's saying. Of course he doesn't like playing PK. People don't like playing PK.
On the
That's
ice.
why he's PK.
Yeah, PK, who admits he farts on people.
Which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's
and-
great.
And he's pesky. You know who players like playing against?
Players who are bad.
Yeah, plugs.
Yeah.
And Subban is not that. Now, there was a cool thing today, and it's ridiculous that he even had to do this, frankly. But so this comes out, and a lot of people were still like, yeah, but still, John Scott, villainous John Scott, piece of shit. You're garbage, John Scott.
Hockey Twitter is like the most fickle beast out there.
It's everybody.
He was their hero.
But guess
And
what?
now-
Fuck you.
But guess what?
We regret to inform you, Milkshake Duck is racist. Have you seen those tweets?
No, I have not seen those tweets.
It's basically this, Milkshake Duck is the newest beloved phenomenon on the internet. 5 minutes later, we regret to inform you that Milkshake Duck is racist. And that I saw that tweet connected to the Plinko guy. Did you see the viral clip with the Plinko guy?
No.
Yeah.
So this Spazoid just
Because he won the Plinko game, right?
He set a new record, and he was this adorable kid with glasses and a stupid haircut, and he goes on and he breaks the all-time Plinko record, and he is the darling of the internet for 5 minutes until they show a clip of him doing an interview on CNN as like Teens for Trump or something like that. So then they attach the tweet, we regret to inform you that Milkshake Duck is racist. So
Also,
and then
they do the same thing with that Kent guy who had the red sweater sweater
Oh,
vest?
Kent Bone.
Oh,
yeah.
Ken Bone.
They found his Reddit account. It was like he likes some weird Reddit pages. Yeah.
We were going to inform you that Milkshake Duck is a perv.
Okay,
And then the alt-right donates $400,000 to the Milkshake Ducks GoFundMe. That's the follow-up tweet
can we
from
just-
Pixelated Vote.
Can we just throw something out there? We're all garbage in some way. We've all done garbage things.
But are we Milkshake Duck garbage?
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think we're all milkshake duck racism.
Here, sorry. I forgot to get to the actual thing. So, Subban, PK Subban, actual PK Subban, his verified Twitter account, the morning after, at 9:36 a.m., the morning after losing Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, had to, actually he didn't have to, he did this out of the kindness of his own heart, tweets John Scott, I liked meeting you too, bud. Hope the kids are doing well. Ignore the tweets. I never took it personal. Neither should anyone. Thumbs up. By the way, that guy deserves a rap on the head.
He's the freaking
He
best.
deserves a rap on the head from his coach, by the way.
I love PK so much.
He's the
I
best.
hope, I know that apparently Nashville's got to make a trade with their D. I hope it's PK, and I hope it's here. For no reason other than I just want him to be a Leaf so bad.
They're losing a forward. They're losing a forward, I think.
You can't split that D up. It's too good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I saw some people going, well, even 2 years ago, he shouldn't have said it. Okay, fine. If you want to live in a world,
you didn't like playing him. What's wrong with that?
yeah, if you want to live in a world where everyone is that nice to each other all the time, okay, fine.
then you
I
don't
suppose.
watch hockey.
Well, and also don't watch hockey, but also, you know what? He told a story about fighting Phil Kessel because Randy Carlyle was being a smartass, and he told the story and everyone laughed, and you thought it was cheeky and cool then. So all of a sudden, this thing that got dug up, and he had nothing to do with it getting dug up, all of a sudden that, like, now you have a problem with that? I don't know. I like, it got great publicity for the interview, which was the goal, but that was a dishonest thing ESPN did. That was a dishonest thing, I think.
It's called clickbait, my friend.
And, oh, well, we're just including popular players' opinion on him. It's from 2 years ago. You could have interviewed anybody, and you chose to use this.
You know why? Because we're talking about
Because it worked.
Yeah. So
worked.
they did the right thing.
Yep.
They 1,000% did the right
Why
thing.
do you think ESPN used an old interview? Is it because they fired all their reporters?
Well,
Are they going to do this more? Is this like going to be a habit of ESPN's? How about you hire some fucking reporters so they can do some fucking reporting?
I don't think they're gonna. I just don't think they're gonna cover the NHL anymore.
Oh, fair enough.
Like even Craig Kusten's gone. I
don't know if he got laid off or he just left.
He's gone. No, like I mean, he's one of the best.
Also, why? What is it with all these people laying people off in the middle of the playoffs?
I don't. Well, it just goes to show how much ESPN cares.
Well, even Jim Neal and Josh Cooper.
Yeah.
They both got laid off. A guy who primarily covers the Predators and a girl who primarily covers the Ducks got laid off in the middle of a series between the Predators and Ducks.
Now,
what?
I wonder if that happened because companies set their fiscals for September, and they're starting to go through their budgets now.
Okay, what do they set their common sense for? Fuck your fiscals. What do you set your common sense for? Jesus. It's the middle of a series.
You know, we haven't talked about this, but that leaves a big gaping hole. Like there's a vacuum for coverage of hockey. And if you are a writer or an aspiring broadcaster, this is your chance to do it yourself and own your own content.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously, like you, Steve, you've done it. You know, it's not easy and you don't make a lot of money, but if it's something you're truly passionate about, man, this is your time. This is it. Go get it. Like think about how much coverage does Nashville get locally normally? But they've got an intense fan base. This is the time to jump on it.
Readers and, well, holy shit. Yeah, you're right. Well, and I mean, Josh is still alive and still writing about the Preds. It's just he needs to find his own way. But I think it used to be.
But join up with a guy like Josh, start a website.
Like, it's so funny. Like, I swear I've been doing this for a long time. And before I got to do Leafs TV, I was just some YouTubing schmuck. And then I was the YouTubing schmuck who got to be on Leafs TV sometimes. And then I was the YouTubing schmuck who works at CBC, but CBC won't let him on any platform, so who cares?
But they sure did. They sure did make it seem like you were about to.
Well,
they dangled that carrot.
Oh, that sucked so hard. Anyway, and then I was the guy who is on Sportsnet sometimes. Then I was on Sportsnet all the time. and then I was on Sportsnet.ca and TV sometimes. And now that it's amazing how many more people walk up to you and they're like, "Oh, you're cool now. You're cool now." Like, I don't think it should be about the company giving you legitimacy. It should be your work giving you legitimacy.
Agreed.
Where does that leave you though? A lot of you, if you're in school right now or you're looking to get started, whatever, you gotta start your own thing. That's the trend. That's where this is going. That's where this was going 10 years ago. My boss at Leafs TV was Nostradamus with this shit. He was absolutely right. You gotta go out there and start your own thing. You gotta go out there and start your own thing, and that's your resume.
Yep.
That's your resume, along with I worked at the Toronto Zoo, or wherever your version of the Toronto Zoo is.
Let's talk about the Memorial Cup for just a second, and then we're going to get to the All-Star game, because we have a few things to get to before we get to the press conference.
Sorry, that got serious for no good reason.
It's all good. Jeremy Bracco single-handedly wins the Memorial Cup.
And no one else. Congrats to Jeremy Bracco and no one else.
In Toronto, it was literally just Jeremy Bracco and I guess that team from Windsor.
Hey, the Windsor Spitfires, I'll say their name. They unblocked me.
Sergeyev is a guy that you might know from them.
No.
I think Jeremy Bracco won because he cut his hair.
I think he won because he was well rested.
Yeah, that's
because the Memorial Cup is silly.
So the Spitfires were not champions, and then all of a sudden became Memorial Cup champions.
They're not champions, but they're the champions of the champions.
Why don't they do March Madness happens, right? Canadian Junior Leagues. You're aware that happens.
No.
You're aware of how popular that is, right? Do you know what an explosion of awesomeness that would be every spring? If you did that?
But then what is the regular... Okay, so how does it work in basketball? Like,
they have divisions.
Do all those divisions have champions?
Yeah, they're conference champions.
Conference champions.
They'll play.
Do they get like a trophy for it?
Yeah. You play in a conference tournament at the end of the season.
And then you get ranked.
And you get ranked.
And then you play.
So do you somehow divide the CHL into 4?
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't it? You've got the Q, you've got the O, you've got the W.
It's divided 3. You don't need 4.
You don't need 4, yeah.
You just need 64 teams.
They have 60.
Or 32.
Yeah, they're cut it down, yeah.
It's a neat thought, and I like it. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the Spitfires, but... I mean,
but Jeremy Bracco cut his hair and set the world on fire.
All the players you were playing were in a war for longer than you. It's a fun tournament, though. It's a fun tournament. I wish I shouldn't spoil the Spitfires party because I do this every year. Because didn't the host win last year too?
But it was London, and they were dominant.
And weren't they also champions?
London Knights. Yes, they were.
Yeah.
They won the J. Ross. What is it?
Yeah.
Is it
J. Ross Robertson.
That's the first one, and then the Memorial Cup, right?
Yeah.
And Mitch Marner won the MVP for both.
Yeah, Mitch Marner had a year.
He
had a year.
So it's weird though, right?
Oh, it's fully weird.
Yeah.
It's antiquated.
Yeah.
It's old. It's time for a change.
Dude, you can finish last place in the OHL and be the host team, and if you manage to string together, what is it, like 4 wins in 6 games?
Literally 4 wins, yeah.
You're good.
Yep.
You win. You're the champion of champions. Not just a champion, you're the champion of champions. It just bums me out that the WHL, QMJHL, and OHL champions end their season losers. When you're the champion, you're supposed to win the final game of the season. I don't know. I just feel bad. And sometimes emotions boil over, and you throw your stick at a camera.
Yeah, there's that. I felt like that was like so much was made of that.
Oh, the stick?
Yeah, and listen, it's super dangerous to do that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean,
I
let's
harped
talk about
on
the
it.
winners.
I know. I harped on it just because, like, I was just like, oh, that kid shouldn't have done that. And so many people were like, yeah, well, maybe they shouldn't have with the camera in the face. I'm like, so throw sticks then. Like, I couldn't believe how many, like, adults, actual adults, I had to explain that, well, when you're 19 years old, you're actually not allowed to throw
stuff anymore.
Things.
Yeah.
Well, then you never played sports. What?
Kevin Frankish on BT said the same thing. He's like, our industry is really insensitive sometimes. But the point of our industry is to show the story. And part of showing the story, he's like, well, you didn't have to have the camera that close. You have zoom lenses. I mean, I disagree with him on that point.
It's storytelling.
It's storytelling. And you want that close-up angle. And, I mean, I understand the human element, but you're in the Memorial Cup final. If you're not mature enough to handle it, then you shouldn't be dressed.
Everybody wants a hot dog. No one wants to see how it's made.
Bingo. Let's move on. because there's a few things we need to talk about. Tampa Bay will host the NHL Boarfest All-Star Game. Will host.
I was like, what?
Yeah. No Olympics this year. Bettman said that, he said at the press conference yesterday, we've made that quite clear for the last 6 weeks, which hilarious.
So Bettman.
Was so funny because
So
it's like, okay,
Bettman.
the speculation, A, they did leave it open to speculation. B, when he said, well, it's been a non-issue for the last 6 weeks, despite what Rene Fasel and the IAAHF have said, then why didn't you come out 5 weeks ago and say that?
Well,
All you had to do was say, no, it's off the table.
They already said that, though. They did already say that. He's
But
not
then
wrong.
but it was left open. It was
No?
like, well, chances are, well, if
I
it's
don't
left
think so.
open if they haven't made an all-star announcement.
Maybe it
So
was.
what you
Maybe
say
it was
is-
closed and they hadn't made an All-Star announcement.
Well,
yet.
what you say is, we've got an all-star announcement coming, we're not going to the Olympics. But he left it open for 6 weeks and then acted as though everybody was so stupid for bringing it up again. Oh, you're so dumb.
That's his gig.
Get out of here.
That's his gig.
The other thing that he said was, when somebody asked about Ovechkin playing in the 2018 Olympics, he said, and I love this quote, we have an expectation that none of our players are going.
That's going to be fun. What if the team that Alex Ovechkin plays for next year is Dynamo Moscow? Have we considered that yet?
Mike Milbury would be thrilled.
All right, like if you're the Caps, all right? Or sorry, if you're Ovechkin and you're not totally stoked with all the moves the Caps made this offseason, maybe. Like, I mean, that would be such a shame because it's not just a really good player leaving. It's not just an Alex
One of the
Radulov
best.
leaving. It's an all-timer. Like, the one thing about Jaromir Jagr's numbers that I keep looking at and is like, oh, God, he left for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just passed second all-time. That would be well in his rear view mirror. Or who knows, maybe something would have happened and he would have retired 5 years ago. I don't know.
But
I
this
don't
has
know. Push
happened
it, coulda.
before. I mean, the WHA took Bobby Hall.
Yeah.
And I think Dave Keon was almost left, and then the Leafs blocked it somehow. And this has happened before. It's not as though this hasn't happened. I don't see
happened for a
Ovechkin
long
just
time, though.
leaving.
Me neither,
But I do see him going to the Olympics. And what can the NHL do? I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess you could suspend a guy,
Yeah, you can definitely suspend
You can't
him.
physically.
restrain him, but how long would they suspend? What's
He has
a
fuck
punishment
you
for that?
money. He has fuck you money. So.
But what kind of suspension would that be? If
They
I'm
ban
just
him
throwing-
for a season,
then he goes and makes more money in Russia.
but then he's not playing for the NHL.
10 games.
10 games. Is that worth it?
What if?
Well, it would be. Here's what you want to do.
What if he gets suspended and during that 10-game suspension he plays for Dynamo Moscow?
Well, you can't do that.
No, you can't.
Can't do that. As soon as you play
Fuck
for
you,
another
I'm
team,
Alex
you can't play.
Ovechkin.
You can't do that. If he hurt his team just enough that they didn't make the playoffs, then the suspension worked, right? Or that they got hurt in the playoffs or killed their momentum or something.
Alex Ovechkin has fuck you money. Like, the NHL, like, he has enough on his side that even if the NHL wins, he can win too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He has the power to just leave. He can do whatever he wants.
Yes. Yes. Let me throw this out there.
Throw it out.
Kelson, KM Krabby 10 on Twitter, tweeted me with something. Kelson, we got to work on your Twitter name.
I thought something happened in your mouth.
He had a really great idea.
What was that? Leafs.
If you put the All-Star game in a new country, brackets China, would it not be a great way to grow the game / stop players from opting out? So instead of going to the Olympics, you do the All-Star game in a different country.
Maybe this is something they've thought of.
I love that idea. I think that's amazing.
It's an amazing idea until you remember what the All-Star game is like.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is not what we want to sell
However,
to new fans.
Can you get a new player? Can you get a player like, I mean, it's all the stars, especially you could get like a player like, Sidney Crosby, what he's played in 2?
I think
entire
it's
career?
2.
2 maybe?
Wasn't this year his third?
I think it was his second.
Oh, second. Wow.
Okay.
Might have been his third.
Second
yeah.
all
No,
time. Like,
yeah, I think you're right.
The
like
fact that it's not more than 3.
is bananas, right?
Yeah.
Now, if it's in Vienna, if it's in Seoul, if it's in Beijing or Shanghai, does that make it more exciting to the NHL players? And you take a week off the schedule.
And then these people get to watch a bunch of players not try.
Well, I think
That's what I keep
I think
going
they'd be a
back
little
to.
bit more energetic if they were in a different country for some reason.
No, I think it'd be more relaxed.
You do?
If anything. Or even if it's the same, it's not exciting.
Yeah, you know how hungover players usually are for the All-Star game? They're going to be more hungover for the All-Star game.
And also, I think the World Cup is their thing for that. Let's showcase our talent to the world. That's what the World Cup is there for.
You mean the World Cup in Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the skills competition I saw in Columbus, when I went to the bar, I didn't see any NHL players there.
No,
definitely
They
not.
They weren't pounding back anything.
No, they went to their hotel
And they got ready.
and they thought about ordering room service, but they're like, what if it upsets my tummy? I need to be in tip-top shape tomorrow.
They drank a glass of water and went to bed.
They did, but not too big of a glass of water, lest they wake up in the middle of the night and have it interrupt their beauty sleep.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
They had a small glass of water.
Yeah.
They charged their Fitbits and they went to sleep.
I'm not making this up. No.
All right. Listen,
The All-Star game is serious.
I thought he had a good idea. So Quinn sent me this, and I have to bring this up because it's so fantastic.
Was this a surprise that was almost spoiled on Twitter?
It is. I don't know if you've ever heard of Sportster.com, but it's about the worst site on the internet. It's a click-through site. But they do these articles.
Sportster, for some reason, the second you said Sportster, all I heard in my head was, hey, I'm the Sportster.
Yeah.
And I just pictured some kid from like a 1993 pizza commercial with the Ninja Turtles.
So this is an idea of what is trending today on the Sportster for headlines. 15 things we do not want to see happen in the WWE in 2017.
Fair.
That's a good article.
Top 15 players who played for the team they grew up hating.
Okay.
That's
That's
pretty
interesting.
Top 20 times in wrestling you knew something had gone seriously wrong.
Okay, that's probably a list of funny gifts.
It's 15 female athletes all guys love seeing in yoga pants.
That's a little-
okay.
Top
yeah.
15 Cristiano Ronaldo memes that are savage AF. So
How
what?
many-
Are
what
you
is-
getting the point? It's a BuzzFeed type.
Adam started hot.
That's Faye. That's what's
no.
trending on their site today.
It's
It's a
I
BuzzFeed-
got the flavor of the site.
You get
Yeah.
that's the point.
Cool.
Okay. So here,
They're Narcidia Jace.
yes, here are 15 huge trades that could happen this summer in the NHL.
Whoa.
Are you ready?
Oh, good.
Now I'm not
so
sure.
they're not wrong.
I'm not sure if this person meant this summer or before the expansion draft, because some of the players mentioned in this are definitely UFAs. So there's no way they're getting traded unless it's before the expansion
Doesn't matter.
draft.
I don't think this person knows a lot about hockey.
Brandon Sutter for Ryan Nugent Hopkins.
Why?
Sutter can play even strength, power play, and especially
Oh,
short-handed.
they justify it. Oh, that's
Where Maroon and Lucic.
Oh,
Oh,
is
yeah,
that
there's
just
an
the
actual
list?
written article. Yeah, where Maroon and Lucic are useless for the Canucks and Linden. It's time to start over. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins, though an underachiever, can start anew without
Maroon is
pressure.
useless?
Well, on the penalty kill,
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know enough about the Oilers for that.
they
but-
need a forward who can offensively and defensively match up against bullish yet skilled forwards like Getzlav and Perry.
But don't they both? I think both those guys are penalty killers.
Ryan Miller to the Los Angeles Ryan Miller to the Los Angeles Kings for a third-round pick. Ryan Miller, UFA Ryan Miller to the
The
LA
rights
Kings.
to Ryan Miller?
No, just Ryan Miller. Doesn't even say the rights.
No, just trade them.
LA will
No.
completely overhaul their team and give John Stevens a chance to put his stamp on the team. They've dealt Bishop
Oh,
already and
yeah.
need a good backup for Quick. 36-year-old
Ryan-
Miller posted a .914 save percentage last year. He's been productive
That's a
on a
stat.
series of terrible teams.
Who's next?
Jacob Trouba for Marc-Andre Fleury.
Come on! Come on!
Now you're being ridiculous.
You know
seems to
what?
be on the
I'm gonna
bubble.
give this guy kudos. If
could
you're gonna do this article, that's a great trade proposal. You get a guy who was rumored to be traded for a long time, asked for a trade for another guy who has been rumored to be traded forever, and he's on a team that's currently in the Stanley Cup final. That's gonna get a reaction. That's great.
You can tell this guy's a Pens fan because literally it doesn't help Winnipeg at all, except Winnipeg is on the cusp and this deal could be enough to push them from the 9th to the 8th seed. As though that's great for them. And also, you know, Marc-Andre Fleury's a UFA at the end of the season, but whatever. Trouba, who seems to be on the bubble in Winnipeg, would be great. Great addition to the Pens. He's no Letang, but he plays in all situations and isn't afraid to get involved.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh could re-sign Schultz, then secure Trouba, start rebuilding their defense in front of their number 1 goalie, Matt Murray. Definitely a Pens fan. I mean, that is definitely a Pens fan.
Yeah, you know what? The Penguins are definitely going to have a right side of Chris Letang, Jacob Trouba, and Justin Schultz. Jesus Lord.
Come
on, man.
Nick Bukestad and Roberto Luongo for Philip Grubauer.
No!
And what?
They're going to trade $12 million of cap hit for the next forever in exchange for the Caps backup goalie. Are you high?
It's awful because when you say it, you like try to think, okay, is that reason? And then you're like, no, there's nothing there. And it hurts your brain.
So what's wrong with this deal for either team? A backup veteran like Luongo, who will be playing less regular season games, fits perfectly. Florida gets one of their top young goalies in the league, who at 25 still has a lot to prove and a full career ahead. That's probably why the deal doesn't happen. Number 11, Anthony Duclair, Mike Smith, and a second-round pick to Minnesota. For you ready for this? Zach Parise and Devin Dubnyk.
Both!
And Dubnyk.
So they're
Go big or fuck off. I like it.
Go big.
Go big or fuck off, I always say.
So who does Minnesota play in net?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, no, here's what it says. Even if
Parise.
Smith doesn't work out, there is a plethora of UFA goalies, and they'd have some money to go shopping.
Can I throw this out there, by the way? So I'm gonna add some fuel to the fire for
Please
the
do.
Luongo rumor. Luongo
Don't call
and
it a rumor.
this legitimate rumor that we just heard from Pierre LeBrun, I think. Roberto Luongo and James Reimer both have to be protected, and you can only protect one.
So what do you do?
I'm pretty sure Vegas doesn't select either of them because there's enough goalies out there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think they're worried.
If Florida has to,
You pick one. It doesn't matter. They're not going anywhere.
but if they're both say they both have no moves.
You protect. I mean, I think you protect Reimer.
No. My question is, if you have to protect players with no moves, and both goalies have no moves,
Is there any
What
team?
happens?
Is there any team in
what
the?
actually happens? I don't know.
I don't
You
think,
pick one.
I don't think anyone's in that position.
But if you have to protect them, the expansion rules say
yeah, you have to protect one goalie. So
No. If you have a no move clause, you have to
If
be
both
protected.
goalies
No,
have-
but that you can't protect two goalies no matter what. It doesn't matter if they all have no movement clause. You can't do two goalies.
right, so he's
It's a
saying what
rule.
the hell happens.
So you pick one.
I don't know that that's how the rules work,
Yeah.
though, because the NHLPA wouldn't agree to that.
I don't
You know,
think.
for
Well,
goalies-
there isn't a situation like that exists in the NHL
Oh, okay.
that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So
I thought Reimer had a no. Maybe he's got a modifier.
neither of them do.
Oh, okay,
surprisingly.
okay.
So why
That
were
is
you
not an
asking the
issue.
question?
Sorry, I was wondering why.
You told me that. I thought that they.
No, I
Why are you
said
asking that
neither.
question, Adam?
I said neither.
Oh, I thought you said either.
Sorry, my bad.
All right.
My bad.
I got from Steve. I heard wrong from Steve.
You see,
Number 10, Jay Bouwmeester to Dallas for Jason Spezza.
no.
Number 9, the rights to Alexander Radulov to Vegas for a second-round pick when they could just sign him.
Yeah, when they can just take him.
And future considerations.
How much? How nice of a guy is George McPhee? Because, like, I wonder how many teams have called him with an idea, and he's been like, you know, I can just take him from you, right? Like, you know, I get to just take him, and you get to say nothing.
Mike Green and a third-round pick for Ilya Kovalchuk in a second. And the first part of the article says, it's not crazy at all. That's the first sentence. Kovalchuk struck gold in 2017. New Jersey struck gold in the 2017 draft. Green isn't scoring 70 points a year, but he has averaged 72 games, 10 goals, and 29 assists for Detroit when they can't score.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my favorite. Okay, number 7. Listen to this. Tavares, Halak, and conditional first.
Jesus!
For Sam Reinhart and Robin Lehner.
I'm gonna need you to say that again. I'm gonna need you to say
This
that
is
again.
why I love this time of year, because I love this sort of speculation. It's just goofy. Like, I don't dislike the person that wrote this article. I think it's amazing.
I hope-
it's just, and one of those could happen.
I hope they're a young person, like what we were talking about during the whole ESPN thing.
Keep writing.
Keep writing.
These could happen. Tavares, Halak, and a conditional first pick for Sam Reinhart and Robin Lehner.
No. No. There's a lot of places where that's not going to happen.
Here's the Leafs one. Kasperi Kapanen for Eric Johnson.
No. I'll say no to that, but I mean, that of the ones you've listed, that's one of the less crazy ones.
Here's my favorite line in the piece about it. Johnson's career will go nowhere in Colorado.
So let's ruin Kasperi Kapanen's instead.
And though a deal with Tampa for Duran could also work, Tampa won't get a pick back. I guess they're expecting that a pick would be included in that. Cronwall to Columbus for a second pick.
Who, Nicholas? Nicholas Cronwall?
Yes. Number 4, Jonathan Drouin for Jake Muzzin in a second rounder.
And a second rounder is music to my ears.
Well, we got that's good because number 3 is and a second. Are you ready?
And a second rounder. You know the beat to Grindin' by Clips?
Yeah.
Or no. The beat to Get Busy by Sean Paul, and how like 4 people use that beat at the same time. I didn't mind any time because I liked it every time. That is what and a second rounder is to me. Everyone uses it. And it's kind of silly that everyone uses it, but I just love it. It's music to my ears.
Number 3, Sam Bennett from Calgary, who apparently wants out.
For Alex Ovechkin. Who would suggest that?
No, that would be dumb. We basically did the same thing. I can't hate on this guy. Sam Bennett for Jimmy Howard in a second.
And a second.
I think Detroit does that deal. I think Detroit's like, yeah, let's do it. Claude Giroux for Jeff Skinner at number 2.
What?
I don't know why. I guess
what?
Flyers have a new captain waiting, Wayne Simmons, which I'd be happy for Wayne. That'd be really cool.
Is that a rumor?
I guess that's what this person thinks. I don't know. Canes don't have a number 1 center, but many exciting, promising young winners. I'd love if Wayne Simmons was the captain, but Claude Giroux had a bad year. But like,
it's not a thing.
It's not. Jesse.
Are you ready for number 1? Are you ready for number 1, gentlemen? I don't think you're ready. Because he has his. Remember, we were talking about our Ovechkin rumor thoughts.
Oh, what? Oh.
Number 1 has to do with Alexander Ovechkin. Who is Alexander Ovechkin traded for?
Shea Weber.
You think Shea Weber? It's 1 for 1.
Yevgeny Malkin.
Close, both of you. In that echelon. Patrick Kane.
Wow!
Just a straight trade for the two of them.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, that was Sportster's top 15 trades that could happen this summer. Hey man, I don't even care. I have fun with these. They're hilarious. I love them.
I didn't know that was a rumor. It's not.
Honestly,
Jesse.
Your guess is as good as that guy's guess, right? Truly.
Nicole Arbor. Remember her?
Why are we bringing up Nicole?
Because, wait. She was on a radio show and talking about her YouTube videos and referred to them as her stand-up. And an actual stand-up comedian was on the show as well, Tom Papa. And he goes, I'm sorry, did you just refer to your YouTube videos as stand-up? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, it's not. just very plainly, it's
very
not.
Different.
That was Jesse just now. Just calmly, it's not.
So anyway, no hate there because we basically spent a whole segment on Ovechkin. But how do you make a hockey trade for Ovechkin? We did at least we had a legitimate jumping off point, right? We're not doing a Bachelorette update because nobody watched it last night. We're watching Game 1, so we will have some clips in the next episode. But I mean, obviously, last night Game 1 took preference.
My mom told me one of the contestants, I guess, who was eliminated, and I was very sad.
Is it Dean?
It's DeMario.
Stop it!
Oh,
that's okay.
Should I not have said it?
It doesn't matter. We'll get to it.
I mean, we can delete it. We don't need to.
for me!
Oh, don't ruin it for Jesse.
I didn't watch it yet! Fuck is this
I didn't tell you what happened, though.
That's right.
I don't...
Jesse, don't worry about it.
I hope Lucas
Trust
is
me,
still
don't
in.
worry about it. Trust me, don't worry about it. No, you won't be.
Did you see the Bryce? Did you see the Bryce Harper fight? I didn't even...
Did Bryce Harper, baseball player Bryce Harper, have the worst throw of all time? Or did he, mid-throw, go, if I plunk this guy with my helmet, I'm going to be gone for a long time?
I think that's exactly what he did. I think the answer is number 2.
Yeah,
better not.
Do I want to get charged with assaults?
Yeah.
No.
You know what's weird?
Well, and then he punched him, which is better.
Yeah.
So, pitcher can throw baseball at you.
Yeah.
That's cool. You throw your helmet at pitcher, which can't go as fast or hurt as much. That can get you an assault charge.
One is a part of the game. throwing baseballs at people is a part of the game.
Maybe I have been watching.
You never
baseball
played sports.
I've been watching baseball for 20 years. I have never understood how the punishments are not stiffer for throwing a baseball at a human being.
Yeah.
Like, I understand if you miss, like you slip on the ball or whatever, but clearly Strickland had it out for Harper. We know why. We know the backstory. And I just think
isn't the backstory? Bryce Harper hits home runs
and stared him down. And you know baseball.
Gives a shit.
Baseball, man. Baseball. Don't everybody pretend the good thing is not happening. Let's not celebrate the good times.
It's such a dumb thing in baseball, and like I got to give the Reds credit, Cincinnati Reds, because Jays were up like 13-2 yesterday, and Stroman accidentally hit a batter on the Reds, and I'm like, oh, who's gonna get plunked now? Who on the Jays is gonna get plunked now? And no one did anything.
No one did.
No one did anything.
It's nice.
It is nice, but don't you dare stare me down. Don't you look at me. Fucking dumb.
The other thing that I took away from the fight is Bryce Harper has the best hair I've ever seen on a man.
Yeah.
That is a strong chin and the best hair. Holy crap.
You wouldn't need to put that much makeup on him or anything to put him in like some kind of...
He's a movie star.
Yeah, King Arthur.
Yes. Absolutely.
Game of Thrones.
Damn, that hair is good. Also, you got to check out the video.
Rings.
We don't have time to play it. Check out the video of Bryce Harper talking to children. He recently spoke to children at like a baseball camp or something, and he said, "Remember, kids, participation trophies do not count. You're first, or you didn't win."
Oh, really?
And I love that. Thank you. I love it.
From Talladega Nights, you're the first or you're last.
Participation trophies. He's like, there are only winners and losers.
Shake it back! Shake it back! Shake it back! Shake it back!
Now you see me. Now you don't.
I play for keeps. I play for keeps. The one thing I've never understood with the whole participation...
Let me just read the exact quote because it's gold.
Sure.
As much as they might tell you, it's okay you guys lost today. No, Johnny. No participation trophies, okay? First place only, all right?
No, Johnny.
Well, it's okay. Isn't that what you should strive for?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Steve. You should strive to be there. You should strive to show up.
My parents were very... I don't want to say inactive. What's the word? They didn't involve themselves too heavily in sports or really anything I did. They asked a lot of questions, but they kind of let me figure a lot out for myself. Mm-hmm. When my team finished last, and I still got a ribbon for it, in some cases we did literally get participation medals or trophies, I knew.
It's embarrassing. I always found it very
embarrassing.
I had a hockey team that finished last, and we got like a participation thing, and I remember looking at my friend Alex and going, I threw it out because I felt like I felt so condescended. That's not the way to. I felt like they were condescending, like, oh, you're nice, let's show them.
I had all kinds of trophies on my shelf, and there were two of them I liked.
The championship
where we won. I knew which ones we won. Mm-hmm. I knew that I still think about this. I, at divisionals for track and field, got a second place ribbon for the 100-meter dash. And at regionals, I finished fourth, which I still think is really good. And I beat the guy who beat me at divisionals.
Nice.
And yeah, nice, Jesse. Where was it the first time? Every day I looked at that ribbon, I went, fuck! Every day I looked at that ribbon, I went, should have been first! Son of a bitch! And it made me want to be faster, and then I hurt my back. But
yeah,
I knew when I won. I knew the trophies where you won meant the most. I don't think there's anything wrong saying that.
It's like why people are crying when they win a silver medal in sadness and crying happy when they win the gold, right? And bronze is like, hey, we're just happy to be here.
Yeah, bronze is like, oh, okay.
No, it's just cool. Hey, listen, Olympics I think are a little bit different. If you make it to the Olympics and you win a bronze, man, hats off to you. That's
in
cool.
most events,
fucking loser.
But
bronze.
But
medal.
I agree that everybody should be able to play and that sort of thing. But I don't think you should necessarily always reward people just for being there. Yeah. I don't think that's how life works. Yeah.
What if you dogged it, and that's why you lost? What if you didn't try? There were games where I didn't try. You know why? I didn't feel like it. I was a kid.
Yeah, kids are funny that way.
And
They don't have that drive that's like...
Yeah, I wasn't making millions of dollars, and I didn't give a shit about orange slices. So I didn't try hard that day.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. It's a complicated issue, and maybe I'll feel different when I'm a parent, but I just remember feeling so gross when I got participation in anything. Just don't even acknowledge my presence, because I was competitive. I don't think ribbons make kids want to play sports. I think the sports themselves make kids want to play sports. I think that's where we get it wrong.
Wow. Well, that's passionate.
Just my thought.
Or sometimes parents just kind of throw their kids in for something to do.
That's true, too. I also want to shout
That was my case with soccer. I wasn't like, Mom, Dad, I badly want to play soccer.
I would like to shout out our Reddit thread, which has been on fire lately.
Oh, yes.
There's a few things, but the first thing is, which Maple Leafs player would you prefer to stick 2 fingers up your bum? So thank you for that.
I think I left a comment on that one like, this is why I started a podcast. This is why we started a YouTube channel.
This is it. Yeah. There's like, this is where this comment's really uncomfortable. Well, Kadri has those silky smooth mitts, but I'm picking Marner because I bet smaller hands are probably very gentle. Just so uncomfortable. But that's only our show. Only our show, and only the people that listen to this show could come up with that.
You know, some guy was just like, Polak! Followed by heavy breathing.
If you picked Polak, I would gladly follow you into battle.
Yeah.
I mean, if zombie apocalypse happens and we all get into little factions, I will follow you.
I said it to be strange, and you're like, that's a leader! That's a go-getter! Someone tweeted, I think it was A.T. Fuleman, that Roman Polak is the same age as Kyle Dubas.
That is weird, man. That is so weird.
That's very odd.
Human beings are weird.
One last thing. I know. Listen, I know we got to go, but there's so much to hit. Just give me a second here.
I took the train today, so.
It's from our friend Matt, who does jerseys. You know, our jersey friend Matt. Matt saves.
Matt saves.
Jesus saves, and so does Matt. Here's what he has to say about the jerseys coming in. And he has some authenticated information. This is really important.
What jersey's coming in?
The new jerseys. Remember we were talking about the Fanatics deal?
Oh, right.
Right.
Yes.
So here's how it's going to break down. And these are in Canadian prices, so try to keep that in mind. Americans, you're going to pay $20, $30 less. At $159.99 is the Fanatics jersey replica. The company believes they won't be as popular since they won't be the same company as On Ice. So it's interesting. They already don't know that those Fanatic replicas are going to be as popular.
But
Good. I'm glad they know that.
Yeah. But isn't that the price they are currently?
I don't know.
Pretty
No,
sure.
it's a little cheaper.
There is a
it?
budget Adidas authentic jersey. A budget authentic jersey, which I mean, I would imagine the patches aren't as good.
What's a practice
they will
jersey?
be $200, and they're basically replicas with a fight strap. And then there's the Adidas On Ice Authentic, and it will be similar to the Authentic available today. So Matt wanted to pass that information on to anybody who might be buying a jersey next year, or next season, not next year, like within 3 months. That's what's coming into stores right now.
Jerseys so goddamn expensive.
I know.
They're
Crazy.
so expensive.
How much are basketball jerseys?
Same prices.
Are football jerseys?
Yeah,
Well,
okay. Right now,
I haven't bought a football jersey in a long time.
where's the regular?
I have.
You tell me, Adam.
The regular men's away jersey for Leafs with no name on it is $139.
With no name on it. With
name.
names on it, it's like, I think, $160.
A regular Raptors home away jersey with no name on it is $124. So,
That's
same
insane.
price.
That's insane. It's a tank top.
But they can.
Holy shit. All right. I guess.
Yeah.
All the purple Raptor stuff. Oh, I was like, here's my money, take it. I want it all. It was all way too much. It was all way overpriced just because it was like the novelty.
I think there are
throwback
still
thing.
loophole jerseys for sale at the Leaf store.
Oh, 100%.
But they're all over $100 still.
Yeah.
Which that's
And
insane.
they will remain for sale at the Leaf store.
I think because they got hip to the fact that people were just taking off the nameplate.
Oh, is that what they were doing?
Dude, you used to be able to get game used sticks at Real Sports for like $30.
Wow.
And people were taking them because they're like, here's a barely used $250 stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take this and play street hockey with it. I don't care. I got a Tim Brent game used stick. It was like a $300 stick. $75. even when they jack the price, I'm like, this is still sick. And I get a story to tell every time I play with people. Hey, this is Tim Brent's stick. I've used it on the ice. I use it in my driveway. I still have it.
Have you used it to block shots with your face?
And my balls.
Oh, was he the balls?
He
who
was
got hit
all
in the
of them.
face? Was it Tim Brent? Who took a shot in the
Oh,
face?
Mark Fraser.
I thought Tim Brent did too. There was like a fourth
He
line
took
center
it
for the
like
Leafs.
everywhere.
Okay.
He
Poor guy.
Yeah, go look up The Shift for Tim Brent. If you're talking about positive moments from that 10-year hunk of shit, that's got to be top 10. Tim Brent's penalty kill.
Right now, if you want a Joffrey Lupul Maple Leafs jersey in size large, you will pay $169.
How do you sleep at night?
Oh, somebody will pay it. Somebody
You know
will
what
pay
that's
it.
called? A dust collector. Like, congrats to whoever has that in their store's storage. It's dusty now.
Well, the NHL.
It's the NHL that's holding onto it.
All right, well then, it's just gonna sit there. It's just gonna sit there. I don't know what they think is gonna happen to that jersey.
The reason that, and this is why teams are hesitant to quote unquote give away tickets. Like I know, for instance, the MLB has like a policy against that, and a lot of times because they don't want to devalue the ticket, so they probably in the same way don't want to devalue the jerseys. And but by the way, those jerseys are out of date too, right? They're not even the current Leafs jerseys.
It's the old one.
So to me,
right.
blow
So
them
what
out.
are you doing?
But but sports teams look at retail a little bit differently than say retailers would. Once it's out of season, you should blow it out. But Joffrey Lupul hasn't played a game for the Leafs in what, 2.5 years, and here we are.
Well, no, he played last year, but
He did?
yeah, a season and a half. Season and a half.
He played last year?
No, sorry, the season before.
So
Not-
it's been
not
2.5
this
years.
year.
And not the tank
He
year.
played. Yeah, he did. He played when they finished last. He played under Mike Babcock, just not a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very little.
Jeez, holy smokes, feels like forever.
I know.
All right, let's do the press conference then.
Andrew Berkshire confirmed that he will be delivering all of our extra funds to the Montreal Children's Hospital.
Amazing.
That's
Amazing.
awesome.
Very
So
excited.
the donation page is going to stay open till, I guess, Thursday, I think we decided, and then we'll close it, and hopefully we're at somewhere in the range of $760 in honor of PK's 76. And we can give that to Andrew Berkshire.
That'd be amazing. And he will hand deliver it. We made him. We tried to get him to vlog it as well. He didn't want to go for that.
He said he had a GoPro.
Oh, okay.
Do you still have his Jerkshire jersey?
I do.
We should
send
probably
that.
give that to him
We should
along
probably
with the funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
still
he
have
can
it.
show up with
It's a beautiful Canadians jersey.
Yeah.
Like,
in
it
his
is like it.
in his 69 Jerkshire jersey.
I hope he does that. Andrew, please do that. Yeah. All right. First question.
Oh, we have a project to do.
Uh-oh.
So, Bob Ross 93 wrote on our Reddit page that him and his girlfriend Serena will be celebrating their 1-year anniversary very soon. He wants us to give them a little shout out on video because he wants to make a video for her. First of all, is that a good idea to make a video for their 1-year anniversary?
He thinks so.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So
What do we want? What do we need to do then?
So just give them a shout out to Serena and his Reddit handle because he didn't provide his name. So Bob Ross 93 and his girlfriend Serena, if you guys could go to the camera.
Actual Bob Ross.
Hey Serena, happy 1 year with Bob Ross 93. I know that's what she wanted. Her 1-year relationship with Bob Ross 93.
Serena, I want you to take a good look at Bob Ross right now.
93.
Bob Ross 93 right now, not just Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Well, you can look at him too. I want you to really think about, hey, why did I fall in love with him? What was the moment I knew I'm in love with this person? And Bob Ross 93, I want you to do the same thing to Serena. And I want you guys to write those moments down, and then I want you to pass them to each other, written down, to read in separate areas at some other point. Just so the person knows why and how you fell in love. So that they can always be reminded of that moment.
And if you can't think of anything, you guys should break up.
I would just like to say that in honor of Bob Ross, congrats on your happy mistake. No?
Oh, because it's a painting,
see,
happy
because-
mistakes. I get. By the way, have you ever read the article about how he hated his afro?
No?
He had like.
But yeah.
Okay, so he.
There's so many things where I'm like, is this real?
Yeah,
like I read
apparently-
one where he screamed all the time because he was like in the army. And then he retired from that and he was like, I'm never screaming again.
Oh.
And I'm going to be a painter who talks like this.
Not true.
It can't be.
Apparently he hated
Maybe it is.
It was something that like he started at the beginning of the show, and then it became like a part of his company logo
Yeah.
or something, so he couldn't get rid of it, but he hated it because
Yeah,
it was like
they
a perm.
trademarked his entire like persona, and the hair was part of the persona, so he couldn't change
That's
it
it.
legally, and just
Isn't that
for the company.
hilarious?
Yeah.
So funny. So funny.
So he had to have this giant afro all his life.
I wore a blue shirt on this show like a couple weeks ago, and someone's like, "You look like Billy Mays." And then a few people liked that tweet. One of them was Billy Mays' son.
Actually?
Yes. Like verified and everything.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really strange how
Twitter,
Twitter works.
is very weird.
It's a weird place. Weird place. Jesse?
Final question.
Coincidentally, our podcast is another fantastic product.
Chalms55 wants to know, Adam, where did you and Caprice get Bindi from? My wife and I are starting to look into getting a dog and would prefer a rescue.
The Dominican.
Yeah, well, so
The rescue.
So I don't know.
I know.
I don't know where you're based out of. You can go down. We didn't do that. You can basically there's adoptapet.ca or adoptapet.com. That's where we went. We found Bindi.
straightforward.
We went to and that's the point, right? It's supposed to be. We knew that we didn't want a puppy. We knew that we wanted to rescue a dog because we wanted a kind of a mature dog because we don't like puppies are a whole different league of training, right? Mature dogs are a little bit calmer. They tend not to tear things apart. They're somewhat trained, so you can bring them the rest of the way. So we saw another dog who was named, I think, Yuma or something, and we thought, well,
Like Uma Thurman?
no, Yuma, like there's like a
Like
I think there's
310
there's a southern, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place in America I think called Yuma. Anyway, we emailed the rescue, which by the way is named Fetch and Releash. Fetch on Instagram. I love that. On Instagram, it's Fetch _ Releash.
Animal places love puns.
They sure do. But they were really great because they said, like, they had us fill out a gigantic questionnaire for this Yuma dog, and then said, hey, listen, we got your application. You seem like great candidates. However, not for this dog. Can we suggest, and her name at the time was Pepita, which is Bindi, now Bindi. So they put us in touch, and I looked at the picture, and I showed it to Caprice. She's like, yeah, we can go meet her. And as soon as we walked in the door, like, Bindi was all over us, jumped up on us, was like, okay, yes. And so, yeah, honestly, what I would do is go to adopt a pet. Make sure when you are adopting a pet, be as honest as you can about your lifestyle.
Yeah.
There is...
You get nothing from lying to them.
No, exactly. And I understand... There's going to be a lot of heartbreaking stories that you come across. Like, you're going to read some of these bios. It's like dating if dating was all sad stories on their bio. Because it's like, this dog came from this kennel, or this was overbred, or this, this terrible area, this neglected area. These dogs all have sad backstories.
And if you're not ready to look it up, don't.
Yeah. But I would recommend that you say, listen...
Sorry, that was directed to, only people who are married to me. Anyway.
If you need a dog that is good with kids, get a dog that's good with kids.
Yeah.
If you need a dog that's good with cats, if you need a dog that doesn't bark, if you are somebody who's an experienced dog person, you probably don't need this advice, and can handle a dog with some behavioral issues, please, we need that. But to be honest with you, I mean, Caprice and I said we need a dog that's good with kids, and we need a dog that's good with other dogs, because we can't... we may have kids sometime, so we have to make sure that the dog's going to be okay around them, and so that a lot of dogs are not or need mature kids, so you can get the mature kids dog when you have mature kids. So that would be my recommendation, and make sure that if your dog needs a lot of running space, that you have a backyard and don't live in a condo like me. My dog sleeps all day. She literally she lives to sleep, so it's perfect setup for her.
Yeah.
Sorry, long answer to a very short question.
Iggy lives to sleep, except for when he doesn't. Then he is the craziest dog in the world.
He's a good boy.
Yes, he's a very good boy.
All right, so we'll be back Thursday. We will have Bachelorette highlights then. Make sure you watch the episode.
Trust me,
between now and
Jesse,
then.
I didn't ruin it.
I'm upset.
No, trust me.
I am
Jesse's
upset.
very clearly upset.
Although, definitely watch it before the episode goes up.
Is the next Cup game tomorrow?
No,
It's Thursday.
Wednesday.
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Well, then it's tomorrow.
It's Tuesday, man, right?
I like how I was like, wrong, Adam. Jesse's right. It's Wednesday.
I was right.
I wouldn't blame you.
You're both right. I was the only one who didn't say anything. I'm wrong.
Who wins the NBA Finals? It starts on Thursday.
It's so even.
Fun times in Cleveland.
I love that Cleveland is considered the underdog. How can any team with LeBron be considered an underdog? Get out of here.
The other team was the best regular season team in the history of anything, and then added Kevin Durant.
And became not the best team.
But they didn't need.
They didn't
to
win
be.
72 games with Kevin Durant.
They took it easy this year, and they are 12-0 in the playoffs.
I want to think that it's Golden State only because, and this is not no offense to Cavs fans, but I want to think it's Golden State because I feel like Steph Curry's out for blood after last year. They should have won last year. They should have won.
I feel like all playoffs long they've been Mel Gibson in The Patriot. They had their eyes on one target, hacking through a field to get to that one target.
That's true.
And that target is the fucking Cavaliers, and they're finally there. Oh yeah, like I think not only are they the Golden State Warriors, but they're pissed. Last year, I don't know, life was pretty good if you were the Golden State Warriors. Now they're mad.
Kevin Durant's got something to prove, right?
They're all mad. Everyone's mad. They're all mad.
Yep.
Kevin Durant really wants this.
And you might see the best LeBron performance of all time because you thought last year was hard. Well, now they're literally the Monstars. They're the team you played last year plus Kevin Durant. They made a team not to win. That's how good LeBron James is. They don't make teams to win championships. They make teams to beat LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Because if you do that, then you're the champion.
Yeah.
You don't even need to mention that part.
And if Durant does anything less than win, he's going to get clowned on social media for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it really is an all or nothing thing. Jesus.
It's good. This will be one of the best NBA finals of all time.
But LeBron James has set the NBA back. I heard that.
Why?
I read that.
Why?
That's a great question, Adam. I didn't.
Next time you hear that, link me to that article.
I literally just read it and went, stupid, and I continued with my day.
The correct answer is Cleveland wins.
You think Cleveland? Why do you say Cleveland?
Because LeBron James.
All right, there you go.
They're the best player in the world.
It's not a terribly nuanced take, but it is right. I say Golden State because, I don't know. I think it's better if it's Golden State because then they just play each other again next year.
And Durant resigns and...
No, LeBron.
No, but then LeBron wins next year.
No.
And then the debate continues.
No, he wins it this time and then it's over. Then he's the greatest.
Well, he already is.
Wow, and that's it.
No, he needs one more.
He needs one more?
Yeah, he's 3 for 4 in the finals. He needs one more.
And how many does Jordan have? 5?
He has 6.
6.
Yeah, Jordan's 6-0. Yeah,
but people will always hold that against
finals
LeBron.
More than 4 times.
He's 3-4. He's 3 and 4. Like he's been there 7 times.
I thought you said 3 for.
Yeah, I said it incorrectly. Anyways, 3 wins, 4 losses.
We knew what you meant.
Jordan's 6-0. You kind of Jesus. You kind of need. I think you need 4.
He's not just 6-0. He's 3-0. Let me chill and play baseball. 3-0 again.
Skip 2 basketball seasons and then come back and go 3-0.
Dumb. Just so crazy. They're both very good. But you're not allowed to say that.
Thursday.
Offsides.
Thursday's last show before
Okay, let's wrap it up now. Okay, let's go.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.